Hello everybody and welcome to today's Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5. We are here with Comic-Con Africa Online and we have got the lower bracket final between Goliath Gaming and DNMK. One team is going to be matching up against ATK in the final tomorrow. The other team are going to be finding themselves at the end of a very long road. These teams have been battling it out for 7 months across 3 legs of the online league. They find themselves a part of the main event and they've battled their way all the way to Comic-Con Africa Online. Nick, DNMK versus Goliath Gaming, it's going to be a banger.
Honestly, I think a banger is a bit of an understatement. 3 teams remain.
Yeah.
All the teams that we thought could have been here, the likes of Energy, Sinister 5, Royalty, Online Kingdom, all of them, they've been knocked out. We're left with 3,
Yeah.
and 2 today. Goliath and Dynamic, it's definitely going to be a match to feast our eyes upon.
Certainly. I mean, you've named a couple of really good teams that they had to fight their way through to reach this point. Not only that, though, let's remember that there were up to over 100 teams that registered for the multiple different leagues in the Telkom VS Gaming Masters. Of course, you got Premier Division, First Division, Second Division, and the ladder. So there is a huge amount of competition that they had to get through. They are finally at the final weekend. Let us have a look to see exactly how these teams arrived to this point. We get to start having a look at the lower bracket rounds and exactly how it played out. All the teams on your screen right now have fallen short. They are at the end of their journey. We have got DNMK versus Goliath Gaming as the final matchup here in the lower brackets. Nick, these teams have had to fight tooth and nail to reach this point. Goliath Gaming, they got dropped down to the lower bracket on Thursday by ATK. DNMK, they were dropped down to the lower bracket by Goliath Gaming. This is a grudge match.
It's gone full circle, you know. It's like when you meet your ex-girlfriend's mom, it's not very, it's kind of awkward at first, but as soon as you get into it, it's perfectly fine. But it's definitely going to be something exciting to see. As you said, Goliath, they dropped Dynamic down to the lower bracket. Dynamic, they beat out Sinister 5 yesterday.
Yeah.
In a match I think went faster than a lot of people expected, especially myself. It was pretty much a whitewash at that. But Dynamic, they were able to win it out and book their spot in the top 3. And now Goliath is the new heavyweight that they have to fight against.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a fairly one-sided game, right? When Goliath knocked DNMK down to the lower bracket. I think it was like a 16-8, 16-4 scoreline or something along those lines. So definitely going to be an uphill battle here for DNMK coming into this game. They certainly do have the firepower that they need to be competitive. But if Goliath are at the top of their game, it's going to be a tough ask.
Oh, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, you've got the likes of the Man and Divo on Dynamic. Yesterday we were seeing their praises saying, without these 2 people, you're not going to be able to really do anything. But yesterday, all of them really showed up.
Yeah.
Nexus jumps to mind. Dweezil even showed up, and so did Heartbreak.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
All 5 players are firing at full tilt. Adam and the boys, they're going to have a really tough time in the server.
You spoke about Dweezil. Nick, we've got a live interview lined up with him from DNMK. We're going to be joined by him shortly in the studio. There his beautiful faces. Nico, my good friend, it's great to have you here. Thank you for giving us some of your time.
No worries. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, you've come a long way, Mr. Back-to-back Comic-Con winner. You find yourself in the lower bracket final now, going up against Goliath Gaming, the team that knocked you guys down into the lower bracket. Definitely expecting a closer contest. Yeah, how are you feeling about this game?
We're feeling pretty confident. I mean, we've never technically beaten them in an official, but yeah. First time for everything, and we've never lost as underdogs, or me personally. So
definitely, you say you've never beaten them, but if any times to beat them, it's now, right? Obviously, yourself, you have a wealth of experience, back-to-back Comic-Con winner. The idea of possibly being back-to-back-to-back, surely that dwells in your mind to some sort of extent, but surely there's no added pressure in this sort of scenario. You're coming into the game as underdogs. There's nothing to lose.
Exactly. I mean, our goal was to make top 4, top 3 as a team, which we've already achieved, which is great, but we're peaking at the right time and anything's possible in terms of upsets.
Nico, we don't have much time to keep you on the line yet, so I just want to quickly get through these questions. The first thing I want to just touch on right now is you as the individual. You've sort of had to evolve the way that you're approaching your T side in particular. You've been an AWPer through most of your career, and now you've taken up the lurk role in the team for the most part. How are you feeling about this role change?
I mean, last year I wasn't really AWPing much, so I got a lot of experience on that.
Yeah.
Also, just with the team at the moment, it's feeling good. It's feeling really good, and everyone's doing their jobs.
Awesome.
yeah, it's just gelling well.
Nice.
I had to ask the question. Obviously, as you said, you've never beaten Goliath in an official. Obviously, you dropped down to them 2-0 initially. But what's going to make today different? What's going to make the result different and go Dynamic's way today?
I think, like I said earlier, the team's peaking at the right time. One of our strongest elements to our team is that anyone can pop off at any time. And as we've seen recently, people are popping off more and more. So, yeah, the comfort is there and the confidence is there.
Yeah. One more question from my side, Dweezil. What sort of an impact does BNY have on your team? Because, of course, he was a player for most of his career. And once you guys transitioned into DNMK, of course, you weren't there with the first team that started off with the org, but he moved into the position of coach from player. How much of an impact does he have on you guys?
Shane's been more of a motivational type of coach. Technically speaking, like, when it comes to strategies and stuff like that, he's not too involved, but he's always there to back us up and try to calm the team down if, like, during the game or whatever. But generally, that's his role. Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, BNY is definitely going to have some sort of impact, but he's not the only person that's changed roles among the team. We've got Nexus as RGL. He's a relatively new RGL, and surely that has some sort of effect on the team. How has his RGLing style differed compared to the RGLs you've been with in the past?
I think the biggest difference is it's a more free-flowing type of style, which benefits us because I think as an underdog, already you won't be analyzed, but if any teams that are looking to analyze us, they'll struggle a lot because it's kind of like it's very freestyle, which is really good for our players individually as well because they can just pop off whenever they feel right.
Awesome. Well, Dweezil, thank you so much for giving us some of your time, man. It's always great to talk to you. Looking forward to see what you can bring in the server, and best of luck today, man.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Cool. So that was Dweezil, the player for DNMK, who will be going up against Goliath Gaming today in the lower bracket final. Nick?
Yeah, I think definitely. Like Dweezil, he's one of the people where you look at back-to-back Comic-Con winner already. Can he make it back-to-back again? Exactly, the three-peat. And that is going to be absolutely unprecedented in South African esports history in terms of Counter-Strike at least. So I think he's definitely one to look at in the server. Along with the other names we've mentioned, right? Diver and the Man, they jumped to mind. But yesterday, it was Nexus and Heartbreak that really fired at full tilt. So if all five show up today, Goliath, they're going to have a tough time.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Talking about Goliath, we have got an interview once again with ADM, the captain and IGL, as well as the main AWP for the team. Adam, you with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
There the beautiful man is. Thank you so much for joining us once again, bro. Always good to have you and hear your thoughts. Let's just jump straight into it. You guys are going up against DNMK today, the team that you knocked down to the lower bracket in the first place. Throughout your games against one another, it's pretty much been a fairly one-sided affair. How are you feeling about this game today?
To be honest, like I think this game's going to be a brawl. They're coming in with a lot of confidence. We're coming in with a lot of confidence. Like Nico said, they play like a free-flowing style. It's hard to analyze them, and yeah, it's going to be a crazy game. We're not underestimating them at all. Anything can happen. Upsets can happen, as you said. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game a lot because if they want to bring the confidence, I can double whatever they can.
You love to hear that, right? And when you spoke to you prior, you spoke about the confidence going into ATK. Unfortunately, that game didn't go your way, but now it's exceptionally important for you to bounce back. Obviously, you've been in the conversation with ATK for the top 2 in the country. Now, Dynamics sort of inching into that. Is there any sort of added pressure to you guys to keep with that top 2, or are you just going to play your game today?
No, there's no added pressure whatsoever. We're just going to stick to our guns, really.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are just going to play your game and do what you need to do to get across the line. Don't focus too much on the extremities and externalities, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's just chat a little bit about that ATK game while we have you here on the line. First of all, how surprised were you guys about the veto when you saw that Inferno had been floated?
Massacre ended up saying to us in TeamSpeak that he saw them practicing Inferno, so I guess that gave us a hint that the option for them to ban Vertigo was there.
Yeah.
We were very happy with playing Inferno. I think it just didn't go our way on City side though. We didn't really follow the game plan how we should have.
Yeah.
But T-side, very impressed. You know, there's always positives to take out of these things. So
Absolutely.
T-side, very impressed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what matters the most. I mean, you guys continue to prove that Inferno is your best map and that you probably are still the best team in the country on that map. You certainly were in a position to close it out. So, yeah, you must be confident heading into this series. You guys have quite an overlapping map pool, you and DNMK, you know, the likes of Nuke, Overpass, big strengths of both of your teams. Vertigo as well, I'm sure we're going to be seeing played out today. So, stock standard for you guys from that department.
Yeah, I think the maps. I've predicted the veto. We've gone over it already. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to catch us off guard.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, nothing could catch us off guard really. They've shown the vertigo pick already. So, I mean, if that comes through today, so what? You know, we've seen it before.
Yeah.
There's going to be no _DE_check by HLTV anymore in chat, but we're going to see what Mass and the Voice can get done. So I wanted to ask you, obviously you fell to ATK, but there's a big difference between ATK and Dynamic, but obviously you need to be at least a decent squad to get to the top 3. So what do you think 100%. Makes Dynamic the team that they are to be in this top 3 position to face you guys in the low bracket final?
They deserve a lot of props, you know. They showed up really well yesterday. I watched that game versus 5, Nexus, Diver, Heartbreak, all of them, all 5 of them, Nico, Sean, they all stepped up really well, and it's not easy to do that when your back's against the ropes, you know. It takes a lot of confidence, BMT, all of those things. So I don't know, they're a good squad, and yeah, they'll be bringing the confidence, as I said. So.
All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much for giving us some of your time, man. Best of luck today, and we're keen to see what you guys have in store for us on the server.
Sweet, guys. Cheers.
Back at Adam. Cheers. Good luck, man. That was ADM, the captain IGL and AWP of Goliath Gaming. It sounds like they're definitely giving the respect to DNMK that they deserve. So DNMK not going to be getting any freebies here in this match.
Definitely not a doubt in my mind that that's going to be the case. And Adam, he always prides himself that he never underestimates any team that he comes up against, whether they're top 3 in the country, top 10 in the country, whatever. They're going to put the same amounts of preparation into an ATK game, into a Dynamic game, into a Sin 5 game, just as like they would do to anyone else. So I think it's big from ADM and the boys that they're not going to underestimate their opponents. Obviously, to be in the top 3 of the tournament, you have to have some sort of standpoint. You have to be decent to some sort of extent. But I think definitely running into this matchup, Goliath still find themselves as strong favourites.
I agree with you entirely, Nick. So, guys, we are just moments away from getting into this lower bracket final match between DNMK and Goliath Gaming. As I said a bit earlier on, the winner goes through to the grand final where they will face ATK in a best of 5 tomorrow afternoon. No map advantage for anybody. It is going to be the full entire series to play for. But who's going to be reaching that final against ATK? We're going to have to wait and find out. We're going to have a short ad break, and once we return, we will be jumping into the game.
My gaming name is Josh, and the game I qualified in was Castle Defense.
I only have one chance, but then I've been trying to play the other games just for fun.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online. We are in the main event. Remember, there has been a huge journey for the teams to reach this point. They started 7 months ago in February, where they began leg number 1 of the online league. They had to fight through the 3 different legs to reach the main event. They then got seeded into the group stage, where there were 18 different teams split into 2 groups of 9 each. From there, we went to the championship elimination stage, where there were 16 teams that took part in the bracket. From there, we only had 4 teams that were left remaining. One of those 4 teams was eliminated. That was Sinister 5, who did not make the cut yesterday. DNMK eliminated them with a convincing 2-0 victory, and as a result have earned themselves a spot in this lower bracket final, where they will be contesting Goliath Gaming for that game in the grand final against ATK tomorrow.
Honestly, I mean, yesterday, as I said, it was a lot faster a game than we would have expected. Dynamic, they really showed up on the server and really proved everyone that they're here to play, right? And you said it yourself that they've had time to solidify on this roster, and now we need to start seeing results. And we saw the first of them yesterday. As much as a 50-50 contest we thought it was going to be, it was ultimately just a stomp from Dynamic, and they're going to need the exact same firepower coming into the server today if they're going to look to get a result against Goliath.
I couldn't agree with you more, Nick. It's really important that all 5 players on the DNMK roster pitch up today, because they're going to be needing that entirety of their firepower to come together if they're going to be standing up to the tall task that is Goliath Gaming. Let's give them a little bit more of the spotlight. This has been the consistent second best team in South Africa right now, only losing to ATK. Outside of that, they haven't really struggled much against the other opposition. We know that they've played against DNMK on 3 occasions before. One in leg number 3 where they lost 2-0. It was like super one-sided. Again in the group stage where Goliath beat them again, it was very one-sided. And then in the championship elimination bracket, Goliath Gaming eliminated their, or rather dropped them down. The one anecdote there is that they went 16-14 on Vertigo, and that was the closest performance DNMK had against Goliath.
You say closest performance, but that was the only time Dynamic were able to get double digits, which is something definitely to keep in mind. Maps that jump to mind when you think of these 2 teams, I think Inferno, Vertigo, and Nuke probably are the first to jump to mind. Maybe an Overpass could be floated in there, but definitely I think that Vertigo pick could be coming out from Dynamic. We don't know the veto as of yet, so it will be interesting to see what happens. 16-14 was the closest occurrence, but ultimately in the previous encounters, Goliath, they've pretty much been the Goliath that they are. They've just pretty much been wiping the floor with Dynamic, but obviously this is where it matters, right? This is Energy Esports Academy-esque sort of scenario. So we're going to see what Dynamic can get done. You never know. Yesterday they popped off against Sinister 5 where they needed to, and today if they all 5 pop off again, the man, he didn't really show up yesterday, so if he shows up today, we could have a real close game on our hands. Yeah,
I completely agree with you. He certainly is going to need to be there if DNMK are going to be standing a chance. You spoke about the maps a little bit. Let's actually discuss the veto, but because there's actually quite an overlap in the strengths of these 2 teams. Neither of them love Mirage. Neither of them really play it that frequently. We know that Goliath permaban train. DNMK don't have a permaban, so they've got a little bit more leeway coming into the veto here. What would you suggest to them that they should be banning coming into this match?
Look, I would say you just ban out their Inferno, but you can't really, because your Inferno is one of your mainstays
I think it's actually DNMK's strongest map.
Exactly. So to think that happened and you haven't even got double digits against Goliath on your Inferno, it's not really one where you can say, okay, let's just not play Goliath on Inferno, because that's a scary task to go up against. You're gonna substitute your best map for your second best map, which is probably a Vertigo or maybe a Nuke. So it's interesting to see from Dynamic's sort of point of view where they're going to come in. What are they going to first ban? Because I actually have no idea what they're going to first ban. Are they going to first ban the Inferno? Are they going to first ban the Vertigo? But they haven't, because in previous encounters they've been picking Vertigo into Goliath, and as we said, they've had the most success against them on that map. But it is going to be interesting to see, is it going to be another Goliath 2-0? Is it going to be closer than that? But we'll have to wait and see. We know that Goliath, they've just been stomping them as of recent. So the question is today going to be any different?
I wonder. We're going to be finding out shortly, about 5 to 10 minutes before we jump into the game. I want to talk a little bit more about Inferno, because from DNMK's perspective, as you said, that's their best map, but it's also Goliath Gaming's best map. So do you take away Goliath's strength, knowing that it's also your strength? Might not be a bad idea, even though they had such a convincing victory against Sinister 5 yesterday. Their CT sides still look a little bit sketchy, and on top of that, their games against Goliath Gaming on Inferno have been incredibly one-sided to this point. So it would be a huge risk to let that map in, or not even let alone let the map in, but perhaps pick it would be quite a risk from DNMK.
Yeah, definitely. You really have to show the courage you have to face against, especially a side like Goliath, right? Typically, they have had the best Inferno in the country. Yes, they fell to ATK, but does one result really sway that?
And they led to their own demise in that game
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you think back to Dynamics Inferno against Sinister 5, finished 8-7 at the half. They finished that game 16-10, which means Sinister 5, they're only able to post 3 rounds on the CT side, which means Dynamic, they seem quite solid on that map. But again, the question is, do Dynamic pick it into Goliath? Because obviously Goliath, they are the heavyweights of Inferno in the country. So
Yeah.
if you're Dynamic, are you going to go like balls to the wall, if you will,
Yeah.
and pick it against Goliath, or are you just going to ban it out, maybe go for a Vertigo pick? But even then, Vertigo hasn't been treating you well. Goliath, they've been extremely close with ATK on
Yeah,
Vertigo. We've
I know.
seen a couple of 16-14, 16-13s, and when you're pulling up results against the best team in the country by a country mile
Yeah.
on a map like that, if you're Dynamic, are you really going to want to pick Vertigo into this? So the question is, what map do Dynamic want to play? Are we going to see some sort of
question.
sleeper pick that doesn't
Yeah.
even come out at all?
Well, I was about to mention that. I wonder if we maybe do see a Dust 2 perhaps, or a Mirage coming out of DNMK. Yeah, I'd really like that if we saw maybe a Mirage coming through from them. They have got that free-flowing style that Dweezil alluded to in the interview we just had with him, and that is the strength of Mirage and Dust 2 as well, right? Where you have very strong individuals. You can just post them around the map on the T side. They can find you picks, you manipulate the defense, and then you execute from there. So I really hope that maybe we do see a bit of a pocket pick coming out of DNMK here, that they have got something in the background that they've just been working quite hard on. But the South African scene is small, Nick. It's not like Europe or America where you can scrim against multiple different teams and still keep it a secret as to what maps you've been practicing. These guys are all so close knit that it doesn't stay under wraps for very long if you are trying to keep something a secret. You can even see on your friends list the map that the team is practicing. So it can be tough to try and bring a bit of a secret map pick to the table. We'll have to wait and find out, but I do like that you bring that up, because if DNMK do pick Mirage or Dust 2, it gives a completely different complexion to this game.
Yeah, definitely. And Mirage, if you think about it, more of the puggy sort of play style, which Goliath aren't known for. They're a very structured team, play very good Counter-Strike. But if you think back, Dynamic, they actually played Online Kingdom in ESCA on Mirage, and they actually fell 16-7.
Yeah,
so
that's true,
that's
man.
that's a stomp, to say the least.
What
So
I will say, though, is like, Online Kingdom have just shown that they have this uncanny ability to be gods on Mirage.
Yeah, fact.
They're a solid team, don't get me wrong, but Mirage, they go from like a 7 to like a 9
Yeah.
all of a sudden. So definitely not something I would like. I would completely discount the map entirely. I mean, remember there was that situation with Sinister 5 where after they beat ATK on Train in the best of one, Lately was saying how teams just started perma-banning
Yeah.
Train against Sinister 5 because they're like, oh, if they beat ATK on the map, that must mean it's their best map. And it's like, well, they kind of got a veto for free off the back of that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't read into those like lone results too much. It's quite important to get a little bit more sustenance and depth before you make decisions. So yeah, interesting veto coming to the table. I think if DNMK do go with the standard Inferno Vertigo nuke, I think we could see a 2-0 here. If they have something different to bring to the table, though, we might have a game on our hands.
that's definitely something to keep in mind. And as you said, Dynamic, they don't really have a perma ban, so that must mean that they're relatively comfortable in playing all 7 maps in the pool minus
Yes.
Train, because that's Goliath's first ban.
Yeah.
So the 6 maps that come out, Dynamic need to be, or they should be rather, pretty comfortable in all of them. We've seen what they can do in Inferno. We've seen what they can do on Train yesterday, but that definitely won't be coming up today. So it is something to keep in mind. What maps are they going to take to Goliath? What
Yeah.
maps are they going to fight with them? As you said, Dust 2 and Mirage, those are the pocket picks that come in mind. But then again, if you think back a while ago, Royalty, they pride themselves in their Dust 2, and Goliath, they stopped them 16-1.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So
Yeah.
if I'm Dynamic and I'm thinking, there's no easy way out of this contest, right?
Yeah,
it's
for
Goliath.
sure.
It's the second best team in the country with no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
They've been taking the fight to ATK, and if you're Dynamic, you've got a real uphill battle on your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Do from the veto, but let alone getting into the first map, right? Let's talk a little bit about Goliath Gaming and the veto from their perspective. Of course, Inferno is their best map, but they know that that's also DNMK's best map. So do they decide to pick that map knowing that they're also picking a very particular strength for DNMK? Personally, I would advise that they rather go for an overpass pick, because we've seen DNMK have actually struggled quite a lot on overpass in their past officials. Sinister 5 had a very convincing win over them, and overpass is certainly one of Goliath Gaming's best maps. So if I'm in their camp, I'm saying we pick overpass because it's almost a guaranteed win. Yes, our results on Inferno have been convincing against them in the past, but we did see yesterday that DNMK looked good against Sin 5. So is there even a need to gamble it? Probably not.
Yeah, definitely. It's not really the coin. You're not at the point in the tournament where you just want to coin flip a map in that sort of regard. You just want to be safe. And I think I agree with you. The overpass pick is something that you could keep in mind. Yesterday in their veto between Dynamic and Sinister 5, we did actually see that Dynamic, they actually first banned overpass in that against Sinister 5. So they played our Train and they won that out. So it is something to keep in mind that we got Dynamic. If they do play overpass, it hasn't really been a strong map that is going to be seen between the two sides. But it is something to keep in mind. Do Goliath choose to pick take Inferno into them? I mean, Overpass in that regard, or do they go back to their mainstay of Inferno?
Well, I've got the answers for us, Nick. I'm the man with all the answers right now. The juice has been sent my way. So the veto has been confirmed. Goliath Gaming removed Train, just as we anticipated. DNMK removed Overpass.
Okay.
So this is clearly becoming a bit of a pattern here that they don't want to be playing Overpass. Good decision. Goliath Gaming, they pick Inferno. First map coming into the series, they're going to be sticking to their strengths. They know that they are the favorites in this match, so they don't want to be too concerned about, even though it's their opponent's favorite map, because they know they are the favorites going into the game. DNMK, pick Vertigo. Same thing, exactly as we expected. Inferno, Vertigo, off the bat here in the series. Then it was down to DNMK to ban one of the remaining 3 maps, and they took Nuke away from the equation. So that gave Goliath Gaming the choice between Mirage and Dust, and they chose Dust.
I think, looking at the veto, I don't really see a map in which Dynamic can actually win out.
So it's Inferno, Vertigo, and Dust, just for anybody who didn't get that.
With any order you put them in, unfortunately, if you're in Dynamic's camp, I don't really see a way in which Dynamic can win out any of those maps, but you never know. We saw them pop off yesterday, right? Nexus dropped 35 kills in Inferno, so that's something to keep in mind. You can't really rely on him to drop 35 kills again, especially against the likes of Goliath, right? You've got ADM and Massacre staring you down, so those are scary opponents. But there's going to be something to keep in mind. Inferno and Vert, we've seen the recent performances go Goliath's way, definitely. So unfortunately for Dynamic, I'm going to say it's probably going to be another Goliath 2-0 today.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree with Nick. I think that this map pool certainly does favor Goliath Gaming. It's going to be a tough battle for DNMK. They showed that they had promise on Inferno yesterday, but this is a different beast they're going up against. Talking about the sides, because, both of the teams have looked really convincing on their T sides. We saw yesterday that DNMK were behind 7-8 going into their T side, and they won the map 16-10, right? So Sinister 5 were only able to win 2 more rounds from their first half, where they picked up 8. When we saw ATK going against Goliath Gaming on the same map, it was an 11-4 halftime scoreline, and Goliath Gaming started on the T side. So both of these sides have shown a lot of promise on their T sides. No question marks there from either of these teams. But on the CT side, they've both been a bit sketchy, and they have had a few question marks being raised. So there's a few discrepancies and weaknesses there which could potentially be exploited.
Yeah, definitely. I think if your CT setups on points, especially on a map like Inferno, fighting over that banana control and the brackets control respectively, cheating that rotate over towards the A or the B bomb site respectively, that's definitely going to be something you're going to see. But yesterday, I do want to point out that we did actually see the man, he got banana control early, but then they left him jump spotting with only a flashbang. So that's not really something you can ward off a 5-man T rush with a single flashbang. You can't really buy much time, but we're definitely not going to see those mistakes again today. I don't think. You're facing a different beast, a different Goliath, if you will, and it will be another David against Goliath sort of battle. But the question is, do Dynamic hit the stone on the head, or don't they? That's going to be an interesting.
They're going to have to do a bit more damage than a stone to the head on this occasion, I think, because the Goliath Gaming certainly aren't going to be faltering. They've shown that even when they're playing from behind, they still have the metal to come back into their games, right? We saw against Royalty in the previous weekend in the Soldiers of Fortune event that Royalty actually got off to like a really good start. I think they were up 8-2 at one stage on Nuke on their CT side, but Goliath Gaming didn't get flustered. They didn't start getting frustrated and losing their discipline and losing their shape. They stuck to their guns because they knew what they were doing was going to eventually work, and they kept their faith and they relied on their hard work, and it got them across the line. And the reason that I'm bringing that into the discussion right now is because that proved that even when Goliath does fall behind the game a little bit against opposition where they are the favorites, that doesn't break them immediately. They still have what it takes to keep themselves in the hunt. So it's not even like if DNMK get off to a good 6-0 start here, that's going to be getting them a map win or anything like that. They're going to have to keep up that in performance through the entirety of this whole series. Yeah, definitely. I think if Goliath find themselves down, it's definitely not going to be panic stations from their side. They've got Banter in the server to keep in mind as well. So ADM, he's got a wealth of experience on his own shoulders. Yeah. So I think definitely running into this, it won't be panic stations for any of the teams in that regard if they fall down. But I think Goliath, without a doubt, they are looking at favorites running into this. Yeah. And I would be surprised in that regard to see Dynamic, let alone winning the series out, but getting a map. But I don't want to discount them too bad. Obviously, we saw yesterday what they did, what they were capable of doing, but they are going to need them firing at all cylinders today if they're going to look to take the fight against the likes of Adaro, Zip,
ADM, right? Those are the names that jump to mind. Then you got Kanye and Maska. Maska's one of the best riflers in South Africa. So if you're the side of Dynamic, you really got to be firing with all your guns blazing.
That's exactly it. There will not be any let-up from Goliath Gaming, nor will there be from DNMK. As Dweezil said in his interview, all 5 of their players are capable of popping off and doing surmountable damage. So without further ado, we go into the first map here. It is DNMK versus Goliath Gaming in the the lower bracket final. Loser eliminated, winner in the grand final tomorrow against ATK. Into the pistol round we go with DNMK on the CT side, Goliath on the T side.
Yeah, Kanye and Maska, they've purchased up some double nades and double smokes and double flashbangs, so there's going to be something interesting to keep out. The man, he's jump spot over towards second middle, but Goliath, they're playing this very passive. They're just going to hide in the corners to play anti-flash towards the second mid-peak early in the round, but once again, they're going to take this T side very slow. We saw this similar to ATK. They're going to wait for the contact with the flashbangs and then choose to take the gunfights afterwards. So there's Kanye and Banana. He's going to be entertained by Diver, but the question is, who gets the first kill of this lower bracket final? It does look like it's going to be pretty 50-50. Map control going the early way of Goliath, but it's a pistol round. You never know what can get done.
Double nade coming through from Goliath Gaming towards sandbags. Unfortunately, there's nobody there to catch those grenades. So still not a drop of blood has been spilled here on Inferno. Very passive pistol round as both teams just feel one another out. Goliath have been able to secure Banana control, and it seems like the players are going to be venturing back towards Banana now, where the final execute will commence. There is 2 smokes and a flashbang for Goliath to work with, but there are still 3 players here from DNMK. You can see that as time starts to go on, Heartbreak realizes that there could have been a lurk coming through the arches, so he's committed to covering that all in the meanwhile. Goliath Gaming, they're executing their way into this B-bomb site. Smokes and flashes raining in. Heartbreak tapping through the smoke, trying to get a bit of damage, but it's still nobody's been dropped just yet. Massacre looking to do first blood, and he is going to find that frag on Divo. That secures the plants at the bare minimum. And when you have a one-man advantage in the post plants on the B-bomb side, it's always going to favor the T side. Adaro with the drive-by.
Adaro says DE_check my smoke hacks Adaro. He gets the first kill of the post plants. It's now 3v5 in the CTs. They're going to be creeping in. Adaro is hiding in the cubby. First contact gets taken over. Zip is good for 1. Heartbreak and Dweezil chime in for one of their own, and the last player alive is the man, and he gets taken out by the man that is ADM, and 3 men stay alive at the side of Goliath, and they post the first round of the lower bracket final between Goliath and Dynamic. Something to keep in mind is the winner of this faces ATK tomorrow for 100,000 smackaroons on the line, and that's a BO5 final.
Winner takes home 100,000 Rand. Loser takes home 50,000 Rand. So it is a massive, massive game coming up tomorrow. But these 2 teams certainly going to be focused on this game right here, right now. Goliath open up their account on their map picnic. Like I said, it's their T side which has been the most convincing. So DNMK, they're going to have a tough half here. Like I said, their CT side also has been lacking lately. So they can't afford for this to go to a 12-3. It's not going to be the same situation where ATK were able to make that comeback fairly seamlessly in their game against Goliath. The DNMK, they need to find rounds here on the CT side and to try and get their first round on the board. They've opted for the 4-spy. They've got that scout and a few upgraded pistols. The problem is that they've been very passive, or at least they've been forced back into the bomb site, so they haven't been able to get anything done in this round just yet. There's no damage done through the scouts, so still full health on the Goliath players. The one thing that DNMK do have going for them, however, is the man is posted towards B by himself, which has allowed them to rotate that extra player across to A, and it is Dweezil. He's looking to have an impact with the Desert Eagle. He's going to swing out. He gets the first and the second, neither of them headshots, but just as effective, as all of a sudden this round is swung into a 3 versus 5 rather, and Goliath have to activate, but the scout lands a shot, and that brings Massacre down. He's trying to force the issue though, but still there's a crossfire that's been set up. Dweezil's going to find a 3rd frag in the round, and it's completely unraveling here for Goliath. Gaming Nexus with the clean shot, and it's just ADM left in the 1 versus 5. How did this happen, Nick?
Oh my days, big game player Dweezil coming out shooting 2 players in the back. You know what else is back to back? His Comic-Con trophies. He's going to try and make it as a 3rd one as soon as possible, but just the Deagles putting in work, the scout with a single tag, and Dynamic, they're able to post the first on the board. Goliath left scratching their head, seems a bit disjointed when they try to move across the map, but anyway, Dynamic went out the first force by, but Goliath, they're going to choose to force right back into this. Dynamic, they made the Deagles potent, and Goliath, they've definitely got 5 that can do the same.
South Africa's and Eagles, man, they cracked. I'm telling you, there's a correlation there we need to pick up on, guys. The first bullet accuracy is immense, as you said, Goliath force up once again. Massacre gets caught off guard by the man's aggression as he just charges down Banana with the MP9. Certainly expecting this to be a bit of a theme this game. The man is one of the most aggressive players in South African Counter-Strike. He likes to get in the faces of his opposition, and he's a very good Banana player as well on the CT side in particular.
I'll tell you a story. After Heartbreak gets his head ripped off, maybe, zip.
Oh, shot.
He zips up.
That was
he
a
zips
BDP,
up
bro.
Heartbreak's body
That was
bag, but
a BD play right there.
yeah, the story I have to tell you is I played the man in a pug once, and he went 28 for 0 in the first half on Inferno, like over towards Banana.
CT side Inferno, yeah?
He just does what he wants, you know.
Yeah, I know.
So that's something to keep in mind. But there's going to be a 4v4 in the mid round. The man, he's tasked again with jump spotting towards upper B. He does have a molly and a flash to hold off this possible 4-man T push. But all the information is actually dynamics. You don't have Banana control and you don't have brackets control. So dynamic, they're still going to go for this 3-1 setup, and a pop through the smoke is going to come in. But if Dynamic aren't playing as aggressive as they were a couple seconds ago, this flashbang is going to do exactly nothing.
Yeah.
But the thing that can do something are these Deagles. Nexus, he's caught in no man's land over towards Ducky. He's taken out by Kanye. Now they're going to push the issue over towards the A-bomb site. Dweezil, rather, with the AK, he's trained down. But Divo with the MAC-10, he's good for one of his own. Zip is good for one into Dweezil. But Divo, he's going to clean it up with 3 kills in the round and farm some cash with that MAC-10.
That's so unfortunate. The flashbang that was thrown was slightly too deep, so it didn't catch either of those CT players. So they had free reign as Goliath were pushing into the bomb site. If that flash connects, man, it's going to be probably Goliath who end up getting across the line. So it's actually DNMK who pull ahead 2-1 here, Nick. And you know what it's like when you're in a game as the underdog. As soon as you get off to a decent start, you settle the nerves a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you get things going, you get the wheels rolling. The nerves, they just fall away. You're just going to end up playing your own game. Maybe if it comes out to the OT and the other teams make a comeback, then the nerves start creeping up again. But I'm pretty sure if you're Dynamic and you're Goliath, you're just going to be taking this as just another game. It's not like there's like 100,000 rand on the line or anything. There's nothing real big to write home about. But
no, not half.
I think both teams, we know that the 10 in the server, there's experience amongst them. I mean, literally all of them, there's experience amongst them. So they're big game players, and they're not going to be. This is going to be their first time in this sort of scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Biggest event of the year, Nick. Comic-Con online. And it's all to play for right now. A total of 210,000 Rand is what makes up the prize pool. Full eco here for Goliath. As I'm just going to try and find a couple frags here potentially with these pistols. See if they can, just reset the economy of DNMK. This would be a massive upset if DNMK could win this match, right? And if they can start things off by winning Inferno, that would put them in such a good position heading into Vertigo as well, considering that would be their pick, Nick.
Yeah, I think this is probably on the same sort of realm of Royalty beating Energy out 2-0. I think if Dynamic win this one out, it's probably the same, if not more of a surprise. But, it's all ifs and buts at this stage. They've only got the Glocks in this round, so there shouldn't really be much to write home about. It should just be damage mitigation from the side of Dynamic. But Dweezil, if he's caught in no man's... Okay, that's a rifle now for Massacre.
Yeah, and there's actually a player in the open here. Divo goes down. It's only Nexus left on the bomb site right now. MAC-10 in his hands. He's just trying to stay alive while the support comes through. And I think he's actually been able to stay alive for long enough. Dropping the molly just going to be buying him even more time. He doesn't need to overextend here, though. He gets forced up by the molly, but he's still able to find the frag onto Massacre. Daro going to swing out and try and get the job done. And he will get the kill with the Glock. This could secure a bomb plant at the bare minimum, as he does salvage an M4. But, okay, shots missed means he's going to be able to plant the bomb here, Nick. This is a victory in itself for Goliath. They get 3 frags and a bomb. Ooh, a bomb plant. Let's see if he can find another kill, though, up close and personal with this M4. It has to be headshots aplenty. He's got no armor, no health, and he's able to find one. The trade was there. Great spacing from the man, but so much damage dealt by Goliath in that round.
Definitely, especially if it's a full eco, pretty much. I think there was only a single flashbang purchase from the side of Goliath. Pretty much just 5 Glocks doing the work, and only one man staying alive for Dynamic. So if Goliath do those on the full eco rounds, imagine what they're going to do on the buy rounds. But that's something to keep in mind. Are we going to feast our eyes on the first one of the aforementioned buy round? The AWP is out on ADM, the AWP is out on Heartbreak, so it's something to keep in mind. That duel that goes down. Nexus, he's down to the FAMAS. Dweezil, he's got the MP9. But Goliath, they are running into this round probably with a better buy. Yes, there are full belts of utility on the side of Dynamic, but early banana control is going to go the way of Dynamic. Divo is going to drop that nade over towards second mid, which is going to do some decent damage over towards Massacre. But the early map control is going to be fought for either side. And it's going to be an interesting buy round to say the least. I mean, if Goliath win this out, then we definitely got a game on our hands. If Dynamic can convert the first buy round as well as the force buy in the second, Dynamic, they've shown up to play.
Yeah, that's a great point you make, especially considering that their CT side has been their weaker of the two halves throughout their journey. So if they can like pick up the first gun round here on the CT side, it's going to be putting them in a really good position. Just forcing a bit of strain on this T side of Goliath as they cluster towards the top of middle. Still a bit of util to work with here for both of the teams. 2 smokes remaining for Goliath and a couple flashes. They did use one of those smokes towards Archway and another one towards Library. And it's Adaro who's leading the charge, but a perfect flashbang renders him completely blind. However, he's got the 180 swivel and he does take down Heartbreak, leaving Divo in such a tough position in the bomb site right now, rooted by himself. He's looking to try and lock down the aggression that's coming through. And somehow he's been able to find a second frag. The trade will come through, but Nexus, he's still alive and kicking in the balcony. He's going to be able to duck and weave into the apartments he goes. Great job by him to stay alive. And this is where the man needs to activate. 2 versus 2. Certainly winnable for both of these teams right now. The kit's on the man. A flashbang on Nexus as well. He could look to throw that into the site, but no, the man's just going to straight out swing by himself. They got Zip in the corner. He finds the first, looking for the second. Very low HP for both of these players, and it's going to be Zip who gets the kill and secures the round for his team, but that was tantalizingly close.
Zip zipping up the body bags as easy as you like. Goliath, they post the second, and Zip, he's shown up, wins out the 1v2 clutch as easy as you like. 3 kills in the round prior. So Goliath, they've shown up, they've called out a timeout to talk this over. They know they're not going to face the strongest buy from the side of Dynamic. It is just going to be upgraded pistols, a FAMAS on the side of Divo. But the first buy round was a bit dicey. That was a 4-man A stack from Dynamic. They did just have the man over towards upper B once more. But Goliath, they dealt with that round pretty much. Yes, it didn't go. The trades didn't go your way. Diver was good for 2 in the bomb site, which shouldn't really be the case. Usually that's only a 1 and done position, but he was ducking and weaving.
Yeah.
But Goliath, they post the first gun round, and they just need to clean up this one, and they're going to be looking good to start to take the lead for the second time so far this matchup.
Yeah, especially considering they've just got the force buy to contend with here. The force buy did lead to their demise in the second round after they lost the pistol, but considering that they've got full rifles and the AWP now behind them, they certainly do have the firepower that they need. On the flip side, DNMK, as I said, they've gone for the force. They've got 2 5.7s, 2 Desert Eagles, and a FAMAS. Barely any util, and Dweezil is going to hold W to his death.
He didn't get the memo, right? We talk about this all the time. He said, go down, be as fast as possible. And then the molly came in, and the man said, cancel. Dweezil was like, sorry, what? And then he got an AWP bullet to his chest. But Divo, he's going to get taken out by Canny. And this was actually a force buy from the side of Dynamic, but Goliath, they're dotting all their T's, crossing all their I's. That's definitely how the saying goes. Definitely how the saying goes. Yeah, I said
don't know what
that's
school you went to,
fine.
Nick, but where I come from, we don't dot our T's or cross our I's. Nexus, he's going to be able to find at least 1 kill, but that's all it's probably going to be in the round right now.
You know what they say? You mess with the horns, you get the bull. all the good ones going down. But Goliath, they're able to clean up this round relatively cleanly. It's just the man left in a 1v4. He's just got the 5.7, a molly and armor in hand, so he's going to be looking for an exit of his own. But he's actually found himself in a pretty nice position to stop these T's from saving these rifles.
Yeah, ADM and Massacre are too low to... oh, no, okay, the bomb's actually planted in the corner of the bomb site, so they'll be fine. Adaro going to find the final frag onto the man. 3-3, it's going to be an eco for DNMK. So Goliath Gaming starting to find their momentum on this T side now, and that's when they can be very tough to stop. It's because they don't do anything special. They just let you take deep banana control. They send 4 players. They take full control of apartments. They take brackets control very systematically, and it's a really tough structure to deal with. The one thing I will say is sometimes they fall prone to the re-aggression from the A bomb site. Once they've taken top mid control, that's when maybe DNMK can look to aggress with the pop flash. We'll have to see how that plays out.
I definitely want to see Goliath start to throw in that retake B util, that you let the CTs take banana first, and if you're conditioning them that the man, he's chilling over towards upper B on his own, just jump spotting, maybe you let them take banana 1 round, you know that they're going to leave a single player up there, and maybe just 5-man up B, something along those lines, to see what they can get done, or at least retake banana, take out the info, cheat the rotate back over from the A bomb site that was cheated early in the round, you rotate back towards B.
Yeah.
But we are going to see what they can get done. It is just an eco, not really much to write home about. Goliath, they're just going to do damage mitigation in this round. Dweezil, he's the first to open up his coffin, but it is just going to be 3v3, and the next buy round is going to be an interesting one to see how these teams adapt to how they've played in the early buy round. Gobi.
Notice how Goliath just cast a net across this map in their anti-eco round, because they know that because DNMK have a lack of weaponry, they have to try and make something happen in the round, right? They need to try and get aggressive. They need to try and catch the T side off guard somehow. So if you just cast that net across the map and you just sit back and you wait, you're able to catch that aggression off guard as it comes through. And that's exactly what's transpired in this round. Not a single point of damage has been done so far throughout to any of the Goliath Gaming players, as they're about to secure a bomb plant here. Nexus and Divo don't really have much going for them in this round, do they, Nick?
Yeah, they've got lots, bro. They've got everything they could want going into this round.
Yeah, they've got bullets. Bullets in their brain.
Bullets in their brain by Adaro. 4-3's the score. That's some extra money that's going to be farmed up by Adaro. He's actually dropped the Mac 10. He's going to full invest into the AK, which I don't have a complete problem with, especially we spoke about in the ATK Goliath game. When you're bringing those Mac 10s into a buy round, they don't really have much say. All they can do is double key, and then more than likely you die. You either die or you get like 2 kills opening up a bomb site. So with players with no head armor in that regard. So Adaro, he's completely dipped out from the Mac 10. He's picked up the AK, and there's going to be another full investment. No AWP on the side of Dynamic, which is something to keep in mind.
Yeah, going to be giving ADM sort of free reign across the map, going uncontested with no AWP on the opposite side. And here's that systematic control I was referring to. Goliath just taking apartments. That's Adara and Zipzip tasked with doing that pretty much all the time. And then they've just got their default top mid control. These guys, it's like a dry run for them at this stage, the way that they're going through these motions. Everybody knows exactly what's required of them, and they now assume full control with all 4 players. All in the meanwhile, they've had ADM at the bottom of T-ramp, just making sure that there's no quick flank coming through. So this has opened up Goliath's options, because now they've taken the top mid with just a fraction of their utility. They can now re-explore Banana once again as they force these players back. And essentially, they're starving DNMK of information right now, right? Because they're just forcing them to bunker in the back of the bomb sites. Massacre's going to get one, and he gets the second onto the man who is desperately trying to trade out his teammate Dweezil. But unfortunately, it just led to his demise. And now it's a one-man advantage for Goliath as they take full control of B.
Yeah, but the bomb is in a pretty late rotate. So this boost that Divo could catch on with Heartbreak, if they do choose to boost over the smoke, they could yield them a frag. Kani's actually been... Kani spotted them out, but he's still going to choose to cross and take the gunfight. There's questionable, so Heartbreak, he's going to drop down and get zipped up through the smoke, and a man advantage turns man disadvantage times 2. Now it's Adaro left in a 1v3. He's going to be afforded the bomb plant, but now he's going to choose to pick and choose his battles. I don't know if he spotted the shadow over towards Divo, towards backstage, but the question, he spotted the shadow. Now the pre-fire, he takes him down, but Heartbreak, he's going to come in fast with the trade, and Heartbreak, he's going to win out the round. 4-all is the score, and that has to go down to Kani choosing to take that gunfight. He spotted them over towards the boost. Instead of waiting for his rifler to come and take a double peek, he's just going to take the fight first. He falls. Heartbreak, he's good for 2. 3 in the round in total, and Dynamic, they clean up the buy round.
Seemed like that was a bit of a rush of blood from Kani. You know, when you get that moment, you know the player's on boost, he's very open. If you can just connect on the shot, you get the frag. But like you said, the passive option certainly would have favored the team on that occasion. So DNMK, they get back to winning ways. They're also able to save 2 weapons, an AK and an AWP. And the AWP is on the ground there, ready and waiting for Heartbreak to pick up. So nicely done by DNMK just to keep themselves in the mix here and not let Goliath get too far ahead. That was 3 consecutive rounds that they won, if I'm not mistaken. So it brings an end to that little fairy tale. Still, plenty money left in the bank for Goliath, though. Next, they're going to be able to full buy here and probably in the next if they lose this round as well. They've got a bit of a buffer. Yeah,
they definitely do, but you spoke about it all the time prior to the game. Dynamic, they fall back on their T side. So if you're Goliath, you really got to start posting rounds on the board, and now's your chance to do so. If you win this round, you're going to put Dynamic into an eco. And as you said, they're still able to invest next round, so your time's running thin where you're going to make this economy really hurt onto the side of Dynamic. But we are going to see what Goliath can get done. They do, once again, pretty much have the better buy besides that AWP perched up on Heartbreak. He's going to try to get a pick over towards the middle, I would assume. We're going to see what they can get done. There's still this 2-man B setup that they're going to choose to play for this passive B hold. This nade is just going to come in and do some decent damage onto Kani, sort of 24 damage onto him. But early banana control is going to go the way of Goliath, which is this adaptation that we see from them. Dynamic, they've been taking banana control constantly. Goliath, they're fighting back, and they've got apps as well. So Adara, he's going to try to push the issue, but this boost could not yield Heartbreak's position. Heartbreak could be left high and dry.
Yeah, Dara, it's all about how far he extends here and what sort of support he has as well. You can see that DNMK, they're rotating in position here as they want to try and give some support to Divo, but he's going to be dropping off. No, it's actually, he's still on top of the boost. He's still ready to welcome somebody. Goliath, though, they've secured banana control. Like you said, right at the start of the round, it's the change up in the approach from them. Instead of defaulting towards top mid, this time they secure banana control, and it looks like they're going for the contact play. Kanye and Massacre just slowly working their way forward. They don't want to give any cues away. They haven't spotted the head of the man on second oranges, so he's going to be able to stay alive, but for how long is the question? Kanye comes through, he's got the first on the spray, and Massacre is going to be finding the man as well. The 2-for-1 trade secures Goliath control of this B-bomb site. DNMK, there's no money in the bank. Nick loses round. They've got no buy coming into the next. I wouldn't have minded seeing them go for the save, but it seems like they might want to have a crack at this.
Yeah, Zipsup, he's got all the info.
Okay, the deep molly is like, now we're done.
As well as, like, there was that smoke over towards Arch that Diver was watching for Zipsup's lurk. Zipsup had all the info that no one's coming through banana.
Yes.
So as they waited for that smoke to fade out, as soon as they saw they couldn't actually win out that gunfight, and as well as the deep molly towards CT, as you alluded to, Dynamic, they're just going to choose to save, which I'm a big fan of this. Like, you've got two very capable rifles, as well as the AWP on Heartbreak, so it could warrant a force buy in the next round. Definitely 3 rifles that you can work around.
Yeah.
But Goliath, they're going to post another buy round on the board. 5-4 is the score. And if they clean up this next buy round, then Dynamic, they've got a real uphill battle on their hands.
So, Nick, look at the weaponry that DNMK have right now. So you could debate for either side that they should go for the save and that they should just keep these weapons and have a crack in the next round with the full gun, or they force around these weapons, right? And it's quite an old school thought from Threat, actually, when he was the coach of NIP like a number of years ago. I know he is again now, but like back in the old school days, he used to say, let the T's save because they're going to be compelled, or let the CT save because they're going to be compelled to buy up in the next round, and then they're going to have like a mix and match, and it's not going to be very strong. In this case, DNMK, they've opted for the long-term decision, probably the more disciplined approach as well, just to save. They still have a chance in this round, considering that they have the AWP and the 2 rifles as well. So there's plenty for them to work with here, even though it's just a save.
Yeah, I think if you're in if you're in either party in that sort of debate, I think there's arguments for both of them.
Exactly.
But I definitely agree that they are going for that more long-term approach. They are going to see how these different rifles can get activated across the map. Nexus and Diver with the 2 rifles, they perched over towards A. Heartbreak, he's soloing that B bomb side with that AWP. He's just posted up a B from the coffin's position. But again, Goliath, we're seeing the systematic approach come out from them. Take banana, take brackets and apps, and then you're going to choose to hit a bomb side. But the question is, are they going to catch Heartbreak aggressing towards upper B? Or is Canny going to be the first to fall? The question is, which way does this early encounter go? We are going to find out in the next little bit. He spots his foot, and Canny, he takes out Heartbreak. And again, Goliath, I'm a big fan. You see this all the time. As soon as they get that first kill, they're not going to just rush into that B bomb side. Even though in this scenario it's the wrong decision in inverted commas, they're still going to take things methodical and clear out their angles. So they've spotted Dweezil and they're still going to try to wrap this A bomb side, but Canny, he's cleared out B much for the most part. So they're just going to leave Massacre there as a diversion pretty much, try to do as much economical damage as possible. But this is going to be a round for Goliath. 6-4 probably will be the score.
Notice how they don't just commit to the A bomb site because that's where all their players are, and they are being pressed for time, but they are giving Kanye a couple extra seconds to explore what's happening on that B bomb site, see if there is perhaps a stack there, and then off the back of that they can execute A, or he doesn't find anybody and they rotate the bomb back across into that B bomb site. So really nice attention to detail coming through from Goliath Gaming right now, and they're looking clean, Nick, but this is on their favorite side of the map, right? So we need to keep that in the back of our minds. Both of these teams prefer the T half of Inferno. So it's really important for Goliath to pull ahead here. They won't be content with like an 8-7 halftime scoreline.
Definitely.
Shots at Daro.
I'm 100% for them hunting for these rifles because you know they're going to be pretty much eco next round, but they actually are going to have enough money for the force buy, so they're not going to have all the bells and whistles that they could want.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be purchasing up those M4s, but you're not going to be having the full belt of utility. Maybe they're going to choose to partial to get the double AWP set up. We're going to see what they're going to choose to do. 3 seconds left.
But this is all
they're buying.
Okay, but that's all off the back of those kills that Goliath found in the previous round, which has forced DNMK into this position where they diddle-daddle and decide are they going to buy or not. And they have got 5 M4s to work with. They've got some util as well, but no AWP, and if they lose this, the half could certainly start to unravel and go into Goliath Gaming's favor.
Definitely, and you were speaking about both teams finding their comforts on the T side, and when you spoke to Adam the day before yesterday, before the ATK game, he actually spoke about Banter's influence and how he's been helping with the CT side setup. So We haven't really seen a massive brawl between the two of them, but Canny, he's taking the brawl to Dynamic. The man and Dweezil the first to fall, and this was a Dynamic full investment. And Goliath know this. They've got the B bomb site, they're going to plant the bomb, but they've already got Massacre hunting as well as Zip Zip. They're on the opposite side of the map.
You know what I love? You just saw all 3 blue dots on the mini-map.
Yeah,
Kanye found those immediate 2 entries and they just stayed. They didn't move a muscle. There was no inclination to retake. Everyone's like, yeah, we've lost this round and we're saving. But is there even going to be anything to save is the question. Zip Zip already caught off Divo and Massacre takes down Heartbreak on the angle. This is looking too easy right now for Goliath Gaming as they just mop up on the bomb side. Mess in aisle 9. Can we get the cleanup crew, please?
Exactly, yeah. I love it how the bomb was probably only planted for about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And there already CTs falling on the other side of the map, which kudos to Goliath there. They know the magnitude of the situation. They're going to take as much real estate away from Dynamic as possible. They did exactly that. Dynamic, they've got max loss bonus, yes, but they've got 5 USPs and only $3,000 in the bank account, which isn't going to be enough to warrant a buy into the next. So we're going to look at Goliath, possibly, if everything goes their way, taking the lead into the first half.
Yeah.
And possibly we could have another 11-4 score on the cards. But you never know. This is only the next buy round. We're going to see what Dynamic have got in store. They're just going to partially invest 5-7, some armor, and some nades. You know, the old MM strat. 3 people run B, they dump banana, try get some kills. You never know. It works sometimes.
Yeah, the one thing Goliath have been doing a good job of is not sending too many people up T-ramp at the start of the round. They've been splitting second, middle, and T apartments as well. Let's see if they are aware of that potential. Nobody immediately going up ramp, except Kanye, because he just has balls of steel, and, well, we all know he's not scared of anything.
Oh, there's the nade. 16!
Yeah, so maybe he should have been a little bit scared, right?
Yeah. But, the way those nades go, they knew there were 3 towards upper B. They are going to try to press the issue. Massacre's going to be the first to entertain them, but he's actually going to 1G himself. He takes down Heartbreak, but it's traded out by his own Molly. There's still the low HP from Canny to keep in mind. He's traded out for the AWP. The Molly comes in for the corner, and they're still going to try to push the issue. ADM throwing out flashes. He's going to catch the man full blind, but no one is going to fall. Nexus, he's going to push the issue over towards Zip Zip, and this round could not be going better for Dynamic in the moment. They still have a very advanced position from Dweezil in the apps. But the question is, do Goliath choose to press the issue over towards the archway, or can Dweezil get something done towards apps? He's going to peer out with his USP, and he's going to catch people looking the wrong way. The low HP of ADM, he's going to be good for 1. ADM 180s and takes him out. So Dar and ADM make this round winnable. 2v2, but the rotates are right here. But there's no rifles that have been retrieved.
That was a 2 versus 4, which is now turned into a 2v2. Goliath Gaming, all of a sudden, they have full control of the round as they plant the bomb here on the A bomb site. Divo edging around the corner with the AWP. He's able to get ahead of that Molly at the bare minimum, but he's going to be ticking, and ADM's going to be getting those audio cues. Plays the peak to perfection, but a nice shot from the man does bring it into the 1v1 at the bare minimum here. Daro, proactive in the defense of the bomb site, secures it for his team. Great job by DNMK, though, all things being said, considering that was just a full eco for them. But so unfortunate there that Dweezil wasn't able to find the second with the USP.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Dweezil, he was able to use the P shooter, the USP, to get the first kill. Unfortunately, was unable to get the second, and that's pretty much what was the turning point in the round. That awarded Goliath an avenue into winning it, but it is going to be another full investment from Dynamic. Even though there was an eco, the eco for Goliath is looking really good in that department. A couple players were on 10k, they were able to reinvest.
Yeah.
But this early banana control is going to be the theme once again. Canny, the first to fall. The man, he's going to open up this buy round with a kill over towards Canny. 8-4 is the score, and 4v5 is the round we're looking at.
Notice how as soon as he gets that frag, he just goes straight back into the B bomb site and goes for the passive option. He knows that he doesn't need to get anything else. He's already secured the man advantage for his team, and Dweezil has the AWP, and he's got the angle on lockdown as well. The double AWP setup coming into play for DNMK in this round. And they've gotten off to a nice start here with an early advantage. Like you said, a huge amount of money still in the bank for Goliath. So even if they lose this, they're pretty much going to be buying for the rest of the half, regardless of what transpires. And they're making a good call right now, Nick, as they edge their way towards this A bomb site. There's still only 2 players here, and they're fairly disjointed as well. There's 1 player towards archers and another in mini pits under the balcony. So if you're just able to isolate one of those players with util, makes the life very tough of the opposite. As they start edging their way forward, it seems like it's going to be the wrap through archers with 2 of the players while one of them comes up lane. But that's Heartbreak again with the AWP, was just patiently waiting, and he finds that frag. Finally, a kill going to be coming into the round for Zip Zip. And then for the back of that, it looks like they want to potentially go towards B. Realizing there's only 25 seconds left, and with no presence coming up banana, that's a tough ask. Maybe they just continue forcing the issue towards A. 20 seconds left here. ADM hoping that there might be a flank coming through that he can backstab, but not the case. They have to force the issue at A right now. Heartbreak rooted in the bomb site. Divo rooted in the pit, not giving an inch away, and they're going to be able to secure the round.
Dynamic post their 5th to the 8th of Goliath, but Goliath, they're still good for the next couple buys into the half, so Dynamic, best case scenario is 8-7. You got to finish out this next buy round, but they're going to have to fight 2 more full gun rounds in the halftime score. But Dynamic, they played that round pretty much very well. They were able to get the opening frags, 5v3 situation. They did spread the defense thin, but the trades were going their way. 3 people stay alive in that round. And Goliath, they're going to try look to bounce back. This early banana control, once again, going to be the theme. The molly has been dropped over towards the man, but a missed molly at that. That molly has to be as far into the corner as possible. That's why Canny has overlooked the man's position. Heartbreak and the man are going to open up the round once more. The re-molly comes in. Maska's able to get the trade, but it's still a man advantage for the side of Dynamic.
Unfortunate that the man wasn't able to escape after finding that first kill. He was pretty much a dead man walking. But still, at least that, as you said, that one-man advantage is coming through for DNMK right now. And it's going to be a charge onto the B bomb site. But Dweezil lands the first with the AWP. And he's been able to get into safety, repositions himself, and continues to hold the angle. That Molly's going to force him out, though. But he's able to get the frag before he goes down. Adaro from the grave trades himself out. Now it's ADM left in the 1 versus 3. He does have a minute left on the clock. He's got the bomb on his back as well. But the problem is that he has been cornered into the site. He has no opportunity to get out and consider other alternative options. So now he's just waiting. But DNMK, they're not going to give him an inch, Nick. They're going to sit and wait. As I say that, though, he just swings out of family. No respect whatsoever. Takes down Nexus. He had to force the issue. He's going to be tapping the plant now again. He knows that there's a second player in CT just based off the trajectory of that smoke. Only has 17 points of health here, Nick. Where does he even plant the bomb? Completely exposed to back church. He is going to be able to find the plants at the bare minimum. And he is fully aware of the possibility that somebody could be beaten from first origins. That molly is going to be perfectly on point, forcing him out. Divo does the damage. And that's going to be a 6th round for DNMK, Nick. A big 6th round, considering that they are on their CT side, their unfavored side on the map here.
Definitely, without a doubt. And we saw what Dynamic could do on the T side against Sinister 5 yesterday. That's no easy opposition, but 8-6 is the score. They're going to be wanting to finish this out 8-7, no doubt in my mind, but Goliath on the CT side, I assume they've definitely got their setups on point. It is their mainstay map, possibly the best in South Africa on Inferno. But Dynamic, they really taken the gunfights to Goliath, and I have to give them props on them. But it has to go down to that early upper B aggression. Canny and the boys, they're really fighting for that, but it's just not going their way. Maybe going to try to take a retake B approach, but the one-way smoke towards upper B is actually going to get thrown in. Dweezil, he's stuck behind them, but it's just going to be Zip throwing the second mid-util. Dweezil now on your screens. He's going to dip out towards upper B, post towards CT. Early banana control goes the way of Goliath. One thing to keep in mind is they haven't dropped anyone so far in this round.
Yeah, at least they've been able to secure that control pretty much for free. They have expended quite a lot of their util in the process, but just starving the information from DNMK's perspective does give Goliath a bit more freedom to work with, and they're just going to be posting one player top banana and then re-exploring the A-bomb site, certainly where they've had majority of their success so far throughout this half. But this round's a big one, Nick. Make this 8-7, and DNMK are going to be feeling really good heading into the second half. 9-6, and Goliath will still be content. Probably not as happy as they could have been, but they'll still be content. And they've now grouped up all 5 players towards top mid.
It does look like it is going to be an A setup, rather. The smoke towards Arch is going to fade in a little bit, which is going to be the chance for Heartbreak to activate with this AWP. The flash is going to come in to try ward off this hit a little bit longer, but he's actually going to spot ADM just before he gets out and dodge. But Heartbreak, he's going to peek out, see ADM, and the smokes are going to come in, and the A split is going to come out. Nexus over towards the bomb site. He's caught in no man's land. Diver's good for 1. ADM comes out with the trade, and Zip cleans up Diver. And now it's going to be a 4v3 post plant. Heartbreak's position is known towards Library. He's still stuck behind a smoke, and Massacre rather. He's in a ADM rather. He's in a very advanced position, but Heartbreak, he's going to take him out, making him look the wrong way. Now it's Canny on the bomb side trying to get something done. Dweezil on the other side of smoke, and Massacre is on the other side of Boiler.
Not going to get checked though, so that's Massacre taking out Weasel. One of the two AWPs has been removed from the equation. Zips up in the corner of the bomb site, will be able to secure the round for his team. It got dicey there for a second as Kanye got taken down, but they certainly weren't anticipating Zips up to be in the corner. And getting a quick look at the score here, Nick, it's everybody's chipping in, everybody's pitched up today. No one's struggling to find their footing. Yes, some are doing a bit better than others, but everybody's there or thereabouts, right? And that's exactly what you want in such an important game. Remember, the loser's eliminated, the winner goes through to the grand final. Such a big game here between these two teams right now.
Yeah, definitely, and that's exactly what we were saying prior. If Dynamic want to have a say in this game, they haven't had the best recent history against Goliath, pretty much been on the receiving end of 2-0 sweeps in the most part, so Dynamic, they need a good setup from all the players. All the players do need to be on the server. The man, he's going to try pepper down Canny.
Yeah, he's got a P250, so
yeah,
I'm just
so
thinking
he's able
Canny,
to take the long range duel.
watch out, bro.
That's a battle of the egos right there.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like repeak. Who's going to stop repeaking first? That's the real question. As Adara gets some information towards apartments, so Goliath have an inclination as to what's going on right now, but they still only have two players on the same bomb site, Nick, and it's going to be the burst through apartments. Kanye looking to give support to his teammate, tapping away. He's able to find two. He also does decent damage to the third, but it is DNMK who have at least taken control of the bomb site. Man advantage does continue for Goliath Gaming as they're going to have to make the retake happen. 2 flashes and a kit on Massacre. So they have all the equipment, all the utility that they need to get this retake going.
ADM's
and you can
got
see,
easy.
yeah, that could be a tough one for him if he finds any long-range battles. The man with the P250 looking to try and take these long-range fights towards lane right now. He will find the first kill, and he's going to continue to take attention to try and enable his teammates to activate. Another nice shot down to Zip. His diver finds a frag as well, and now it's just ADM left with that CZ you mentioned, and he's not long for this world either.
Yeah, just a great post-plant positions coming out from Dynamic, peeking off one another. The man over towards Pit, he's good for a couple frags with the P250 that he purchased up into the round. And just great post-plants for Dynamic, make them win out that round. But Goliath, they're coming straight back with a full investment. Canny, he's got that scout and that armor, which is something to keep in mind. Couple nades could finish off those peppered down scout players, and the Deagles are going to be especially potent against tag down players with the scout from Canny. But the question is, can Canny actually get anything done? This game hasn't been too great for him so far, him losing those upper B duels on the T side. But at CT, it's a new beast. But it is Nexus that's going to be pushing the issue, and Canny looks like he's going to be the first to fall. He's tagged down.
Oh,
actually, Zip's just like, bro, I'm coming to help you out, and he just gets a little shot to the head.
Yeah. So the question you were asking basically is, Canny or Carney?
I'm going to see myself out. That was a horrible one.
Okay, I'm one and done, I promise. Goliath Gaming with the force buy, as you said, to try and get something done in this round. Remember, they did lose the pistol in the first half as well, Nick, so they've lost both of the pistols here on Inferno.
Great nade.
Nice nade does come through, does decent damage to Divo. Adaro looking to follow it up with a couple Deagle shots. He sees Dweezil charging in as well as he just leaps into Adaro's arms. This is becoming a bit awkward for DNMK, and you can see the response is, guys, we need to get out of here. We need to try and get to B. Massacre, though, charging is going to be catching Heartbreak off guard. It's going from bad to worse right now for DNMK. The one thing they do have going for them is that they could try and overwhelm ADM on this B bomb site right now. He's still by himself, but he just absolutely destroys the man through the smoke with a shot out of nowhere. Massacre's also going to take down Nexus. And it seems like Goliath have done it with the force buy once again, Nick. Oh my god.
What?
What are we witnessing right now? Divo alone in the 1 versus 4. And I don't think he's going to be getting too much done here. He's only got 19 health left as well, and he's being converged upon. Crazy stuff. I just want to correct myself. I think Goliath did win the pistol round on their T side, if I'm not mistaken.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, they lost the force by thereafter. So that was what I was. That was exactly what I was thinking. So Goliath, they lose the pistol this time and they win the force. So they exchange it with DNMK, but that shot through the smoke by ADM, nasty.
He says, DE_ check my coffin pause, bro. And takes down a player through that was unreal. That pretty much won them the round, actually. You know, if he doesn't get that kill through the smoke,
absolutely,
like, that round could have gone completely differently. The Massacre also gets one through the smoke. Everything's going Dynamic's way, but they're ultimately the first team to post double digits. It is just going to be a partial investment from the side of Dynamic. It is going to be a B rush and a great nade placement. Tags Nexus down to 24 points of health, but it is a two-man B set up at ADM. He's caught with an 80 in his hand, but he's going to swing out of the FAMAS. Pepper players down.
Ooh.
But now he's stuck behind a smoke. He's caught as a diver is going to push the smoke and push the issue. Massacre's only good for one. And Heartbreak catches him out of Dara now through Banana. What is going on? This round has gone bad to worse for Goliath, but the bomb's going to be planted. Or will it through the smoke? What is going on? Everything.
Smoke
Heartbreak,
frags.
Diver. Goliath, the smoke criminal. Is that you? Dara and Zips up left. in a 2v2 heartbreak on low HP.
Oh
He's
my
going to try and
god,
plant the
again.
bomb.
That's his third bomb plant. He's denied. Divo still alive though, but he's going to go down as well.
What is
Nick,
happening?
as you say, Goliath don't see smokes. They
see
see
opportunities.
opportunities. It's what it is. My god.
Oh my.
What a round. That's going to be a tough one for DNMK to come to terms with, right? Because they were in such a good position on the bomb side. It was a 4v2 at one stage, Nick.
Yeah, but that was only a partial investment from Dynamic
Yeah,
to keep
true,
in mind.
true.
So you've got Zip, which he's the only one pretty much bank from the side of Goliath. So if Goliath lose this round, they're going to be in double eco territory.
Look at
but
their
the one
weapons
that's
they even have
important,
now, though.
Yeah, the one that is important that I do want to point out is, I don't want to point out the bad ones, but ADM, he's got the AWP. We see what he can do with the Deagle. He's got the AWP in hand, and Zip spotted out.
Oh.
Nexus, he's just been gymming too much, you know? The thighs were just showing.
He was too small, bro.
So, yeah, exactly. So Zip, he gets the first
Nice
in
nade.
the round, and that's exactly what you need into this buy round. But, oh, I was just
Even
seeing
better
ADM's
shot.
praises. You get taken out by Divo.
Nick, oh my god, heartbreak. He's going to find 2 kills towards the A bomb side. Sometimes I need to remind myself I have to cast a game because I get so caught up in how fantastic the matchup is between these two teams. Sometimes you want to just sit back and marvel at how great these guys are at what they do. As DNMK try and work towards this A bomb side, Kani is still hanging around and Dweezil's going to swing out, doesn't realize how close he is, and Kani goes down. Nice frag there by Dweezil just to solidify the round for
Yeah.
DNMK because
Nice
Massacre has
saving.
no choice now but to save.
Yeah, but the question is, next round, how are you going to play around the AWP? Are you going to have a supporting cast with only a single round loss bonus? Are you going to choose to reinvest? Zip, he's still got $3,600 in the bank.
I think you should drop some pistols, try complement the AWP. One thing I love to see AWPs do on the CT side in this map when you have saved it is you go for the quick pick, either middle or banana, you rattle off a shot, and then you immediately
just
rotate
rotate,
across
yeah.
to the opposite side of the map. It's quite a basic thing to do. I think it was actually Chris J who sort of made that strategy famous. And sometimes it can be predictable, but the school of thought there is they
your
know you've
profile.
saved the AWP. They've seen presence from that AWP on one half of the map, and they're immediately going to push the force the issue on the opposite side, and that's where you're trying to get ahead of the game and rotate before they can execute. So let's see how Goliath do approach it. Massacre, top of the scoreboard right now, 18 and 13, followed by Adaro with 16 kills. Good to see Massacre and Adaro pulling most of the weight for Goliath. I think Kanye and ADM have been the 2 heaviest hitters for Goliath in recent times, but everybody knows what Adaro and Massacre are capable of.
Definitely, and from what I've heard from ADM, he does it he does the most. He watches demos, he IGLs, he AWPs, he
Yeah.
frags. 100% kudos to ADM. He's got the AWP, it's been dropped to him. He's got the big green gun. He's wielding it into this round. He's flashed off over towards Arch, but it's still going to be a 2-man A setup. No rotators come out from these B players, but over towards Ducky is Adara. He's in
jeez.
no man's land. The A bomb side is going to be vacant for the most
When
part,
did-
except for ADM posted on the cross.
Yeah.
And Dweezil that's a free frag, pretty much. He's just going to crouch and see his angle.
You can't crouch peek that angle, right? It's such a dangerous thing to do. Adaro, or rather Massacre, goes down, Zip follows suit. ADM with that AWP still continues to have an impact, but not enough of an impact to potentially get Goliath into this round. If I'm him, I'm immediately saving this AWP once again and taking it into the next round. He did fully invest into this round, Nick, so saving this AWP is of utmost importance right now. Kanye on the flip side, he didn't invest a dime, and he will be going down. So, as we expected, DNMK do get across the line in this round as ADM picks up his third. At least he's doing some economic damage at the bare minimum, right? Forcing DNMK to rebuy 3 of their rifles just to keep their economy in check.
If you're dynamic, why are you hunting? Like,
That's a good question.
yes, you've got the bomb plant, you've won a couple rounds, but you don't have the economy. So
Yeah.
I think that's why the man, he's actually thought better of it. he's heard exactly what I had to say. Like, yes, you got 7k, but you got to start building up the bank.
Yeah.
You're still 2 rounds down. If you fall prey to an eco buy and you don't have that fallback of the economy that you could build up, yes, there's that big plus of, yes, you're taking the AWP away, but there's also that big con of, if you're dropping rifles, the amount you have to reinvest into the coming rounds is going to be big.
Yeah, absolutely. Another save here for Goliath Gaming. ADM with the AWP in his hands once again to try and get something done. I'd like to see him be a bit more proactive with the AWP this time, not just sit passively and wait. And you can see that's why he has got this angle towards top mid right now. He wants to get involved in this round as early as he possibly can, and he's got that support crew as well. A couple players with some upgraded pistols hovering around him. But it seems like he wants to reposition towards the B-bomb side with no early presence towards A. He's making a quick read, making the quick rotation. In the meanwhile, though, there's a bit of a trade frags, or a couple frags being traded back and forth in apartments.
Oh.
Okay. At least it's going both ways,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
I mean, you can't say that that's unfair. ADM, he is on the right half of the map right now, Nick. That Molly's going to be forcing him back, but...
Oh, what?
Adam? Fire hurts, Adam. I don't think he got the memo, Nick. Or he froze.
He was by coffin playing anti-flash,
Well,
and
at
he
least
thought
he's close to the coffin, right? He can just fall in it.
he just opened it up and said, "Yeah, this is where I'm meant to be." I think he was playing anti-flash by coffins, and then he thought the molly was too deep, so he was just like, "I'm just going to carry on playing anti-flash." But then, as the molly goes last second and spreads, does the most damage.
I don't know if that was the last second, man.
Yeah,
he was ticking down for a while
second,
there.
yeah.
You're trying to give him something to work with there, but that was questionable at best. We'll have to hear from him what happened anyway. Into the all-important gun round we go, Nick. This is the gun round. If DNMK win this, they level things out at 11-11, and they're going to be taking a huge amount of momentum into the rest of this map. Big round here on the table right now. Goliath don't even have that much util, even though they double saved, Nick. So it's going to come down to the gun battles for them if they're going to get across the line in this one. Kanye already has the AWP towards apartments, and Nexus, he's going to be slow peeking it. So that's a first free frag for Goliath. Reposition does come through from Kanye as well, but Dweezil in the meantime looking to try and wrap into the archers. He's going to go down as well. Very disjointed from DNMK right now. Yes, it is their approach, so it's going to be happening from time to time, but when they go down like that, it just looks way too easy for the CT side.
I think they were just trying to capitalize on a possible hole they found in the CT defense with that double app setup that you saw,
completely.
and then they were like, let's just run arch.
Yeah.
But then zip, ultimately he shoots the other player at the back of the head, and again just a bit disjointed, a bit mistiming, so it's going to be a 2v5. Pretty much post plant. I assume Goliath, they're not going to press the issue when they plant the bomb. They're probably just going to play retake. So it does look like it's going to be a 2v5 post plant, even if the bomb is allowed to get planted, because there's 3 players. W King.
Oh my god.
A banana. So is the bomb going to get planted?
It will. Only just.
Okay.
Divo.
Oh,
Divo
what?
on the angle. I was about to say, if he can find 2 quick frags, that might make this interesting. The trade comes through from Kanye. He doesn't anticipate the third, and Heartbreak in no man's land has to force the issue, right? You can't sit in dark corner and expect to clutch out a 1v3. So, yeah, he had to try and do something, but Divo nearly made that very interesting with those 2 quick frags. He just didn't expect the third player, right?
Yeah, definitely. But now Goliath, they're able to save up the double AWP, the one that was invested by Kanye over towards upper B where it was dropped, and Heartbreak. So now they've got the double AWP set up, but they don't really have the supporting cast around it. Yes, they've got a couple M4s that have been dropped over, but they are going to have one person with inferior weaponry, maybe a FAMAS or an MP9 going to be coming out. I didn't say anything. They've got everything they want. But it is going to be everything they want, and amongst the 10 players in the server, all the bells and whistles, full belt of utility, except for the side of Kanye and ADM, the 2 AWP players on the CT side. This nade from Adar is actually quite big. If you time that quite well, that lands just as they're jumping up towards balcony.
Yeah.
So if that's timed really well, could make someone fall. Nexus?
Oh man, that's not the first time we've seen DNMK just getting slightly ahead of their util and ending up costing them quite a lot. So this time it's Nexus who goes down, but Heartbreak, he had the angle on Zipzip with the AWP. A bit of a lapse in concentration from him as he swings out. Normally you just want to spot that. If you've lost control, you can't afford to just assume that you can peek it like that. So it's a 4v4. Double AWP setup is in play here for Goliath. So retaking will be tough, to say the least. Oh, and they're going to reaggress. Adaro ages back in middle, and Heartbreak, he's just been holding the angle, having a fantastic impact with this AWP on the T side. And this gets very tough now for Goliath on the say bomb site, Nick, because they have an AWP in the corner. ADM is going to have to be absolutely nutty. He has got the crossfire. It's both AWPs, Nick. Both of the AWPs on the A bomb site right now.
They're just a turret.
Well, I mean, yeah, as long as you can hit all your immediate shots, I suppose you can get it done, but Massacre, might get caught off from the timing, or the timing might work for him. No, Dweezil takes him down, and that's the B bomb site now wide open. He's going to be calling for his teammates to come through CT. They should be going through CT, go through CT, and finally the info comes through. Dweezil was just clearing it out a bit further before they committed. Round 1 by DNMK.
Yeah, I think this is definitely a lot closer of a matchup than I thought it would come in. They're still going to clear out the angles because Dweezil, he did crouch walk through CT, he didn't actually clear out all the cubbies, so they're just going to check all the angles and do what they have to do. But the double AWPs look like they are going to be saved. But Heartbreak, he's going to press the issue and deny one of those to be the case. Now it's just ADM left in the mini pit. He's actually crossed over to pit to reposition.
Yeah.
So now it's him in a 1v4, but not to win the round, for him to save the big green gun into the next.
Yeah. This was actually such a big round from Heartbreak with his AWP on the T side. He didn't even do anything fancy, right?
Yeah,
he was just passive, patient. And Adaro probably didn't have to force the issue there. I think there was a bit of presence being shown by DNMK towards Banana, so he felt like he could probably get some information. And unfortunately for him, there was an AWP waiting. Now ADM going to have a very tough job trying to save this AWP. He does land the no-scope onto Dweezil, but Heartbreak will find his 4th in the round. And make sure that Goliath don't save anything heading into the next. And they got no money either, Nick.
Kenny got the opening frag that round. So that's something to keep in mind, is that was a 4v5 in favor of Goliath. And then just re-aggression, Heartbreak just doing his job. All he did was he just posted middle. And then as soon as someone walked into his crosshair, free kill. He posted a different angle. Someone walked into his crosshair, free kill. And just that round just goes down to Goliath. That round, they were the architects of their own downfall, just over-aggressing in certain areas of the map, which they perhaps shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And Dynamic, they post the 11th. And if you're Goliath, you're taking a timeout, you're talking this over. You do have 2 rounds of loss bonus, which could come into it. Zip, he's got $3,000 in the bank. So he's going to be able to buy out that AWP next round. If they do choose to save, he's just going to drop over a P250. So it is going to be a full save in this round for the most part, besides P250 of that dropped over to ADM. But nothing too serious. So it should be Dynamic leveling things up. It should be that way.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a massive upset if it didn't happen in this round, considering the weaponry that Goliath have at their disposal. Nick, this is smelling like overtime already.
Yo, this is smelling like a 30-round affair.
This is certainly smelling like it could go all the way. As DNMK are just showing exactly what we expected, that they have most of their fight on the T side. And they've certainly found their momentum, right? It was a 9-6 halftime scoreline, if I'm not mistaken. And Goliath Gaming, after losing the pistol, won the 4th. So they were on the home stretch heading into the CT side. But DNMK, as soon as they've got the weapons in their hands, have looked super convincing. Been a nice, clean anti-eco round here as well. And they should be leveling things up at 12-12.
And we always talk about, you were talking about yesterday, and we saw it today. I mean, we saw it yesterday and you were talking about it today, that Dynamic's T side on Inferno looks polished.
Yeah.
And I respect them for not dropping. Inferno is this, we're speaking about the veto, we don't know what's going to happen. Are you going to ban Inferno? Are you going to pick it? What's going to go on here? But Dynamic, they've left it in. They've played it out.
And Goliath picked it.
Exactly, and Goliath picked it, which is something to keep in mind. So Dynamic, they're looking good into the series. And as I was saying prior, you need all 5 players to stand up. It's not just the Man and Divo show. And we're seeing this from their side. Everyone's showing up. They're doing their jobs. And ultimately, they've posted 12 and 12 all. And we've got a real game on our hands. We've got a real series on our hands. And we've got a real possible ATK brawler on our hands.
Yeah, we certainly do. 12-12 as we head into a vital gun round. There will be no AWP for Goliath. I don't really mind this, though. I feel like they've been desperately lacking a bit of utility in these gun rounds, that they need to just try and deal with DNMK, keep them at bay, and then try and aid them when that execute does come through. So they opt for the extra util. And it's reaching a very tedious point right now for Goliath, because if they lose this round, Nick, no money left in the bank. DNMK go ahead 13-12, and it's probably going to be 14-12 after eco. So all to play for right now. On the flip side, DNMK, they've got some bang for their buck, right? They've got quite a lot of money left in the bank, so they're not going to be feeling the pressure as much as Goliath Gaming are right now.
Oh, that's a missed.
I think that is a botched smoke, but it's not going to be costing them too much at least. And DNMK, they've got 4 players grouped up in the apartments. This is going to be a simple apartments pop coming out here into the same bomb site. Kindly waiting underneath is going to be welcoming them. ADM also finds 2 as Adara picks up a kill, and DNMK. Oh man, that is so unfortunate. You could sit there and criticize and say, like, why are they trying such a haphazard play to try and win the round, considering how well they've been doing off their defaults. But on the flip side to that, you know how important this round is for Goliath. If you can just do that, if you can find that killing blow, everyone knows the apps pop is that exact strat.
Yeah, definitely. It's something to keep in mind. But Goliath, they went over towards the 3B to take Banana, and they had the exact setup. I always talk about, if you're going to take Banana with 3 players, you have to shift your A setup. You can't just be playing 1 lane and 1 arch. You have to shift it up. And in that case, they actually had the perfect counter to the ups pop, right? They had a player mini pit and a player big pit. The player big pit takes contact. They try to jump out, kill him. The player mini pit pretty much gets free kills. So when they're jumping out, they're looking mini pit. The guy big pit shoots him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
It's ultimately a great setup, and that's why Goliath, they haven't dropped anyone into this round. And they're able to salvage. They weren't able to salvage the AWP, but
still,
that was the 5 rifle round that you said so, and it went perfectly well.
Yeah, full youthful again for Goliath, and DNMK investing all their residual cash into this round, Nick. So lose this one, there's going to be nothing left in the bank, and it'll be 14-12, and probably 15-12 thereafter. So now it's going to be DNMK who are going to be feeling most of the pressure in this round as it just shifts back and forth, ebbs and flows. Both of these teams feeling it right now on the server. The intensity is certainly up there. ADM said it's going to be a brawl, and it certainly has lived up to that narrative. Massacre, he wants to brawl towards Banana right now, but the util usage is on point from DNMK, just continuing to keep him at bay. And there's 4 players here for DNMK looking to take the fight. ADM, he's going to swing wide off the back of the flashbang. He's got the double spray down. Diver up close will receive the same medicine as well from Massacre. He says, ADM, whatever you can do, I can do as well. He also picks up a double with the rifle and makes it out alive. Goliath Gaming, they could be winning 2 consecutive rounds here without even dropping 1 player, Nick.
And that's 2 consecutive rounds, but they haven't even had the AWP set up.
And it's both been gun rounds.
Exactly.
Full gun rounds.
Massive impact from Goliath. Just the multi-frags just going their way. You were priding Dynamic in their util usage, and it was good, but then they just didn't have the flashbang when that molly was fading towards upper B.
Yeah.
So Goliath, they had free reign.
That was a great flash as well.
Exactly. ADM, he got 2, Massacre gets 2, and now it's Dweezil left scratching his head. Where's his team gone?
Yeah.
You know, he's won back-to-back Comic Cons. Where's the rest of his team?
He's looking for Domster. Oh no, Domster this year. ADM's on the opposite team as well. Of course, that was his IGL last year. Let's not forget the man also won Comic Con last year.
Yeah, definitely.
Along with this energy team. So did Kani, of course, and then Blaze was the 5th player in the team. Interesting anecdote, Blaze is the only player in South Africa to have taken part in all 3 finals of Comic Con Africa. Took part in that Big 5 team in 2018 where they lost to Energy Academy. He played with Energy last year where they beat Big 5 again, and then this year he's going to be playing a part of ATK. So the 3-peat for him. Yeah, he didn't win the first one, but featuring in all 3 finals in 3 different teams, it's pretty impressive, man.
It's that's experience in leaps and bounds, right? Especially if you're going to be ATK, you're going to go overseas, you're going to need as much experience as you get big stages, especially that going to be overseas playing higher level opponents. That's exactly what Blaze is going to be. But that's ATK, and we're with Dynamic and Goliath.
Yeah.
And Goliath, they're looking good into these next couple bar rounds.
Oh, it's a force buy, Nick. DNMK have gone for the force buy.
I just saw the Glock on Heartbreak. I was like, oh, you know,
if they lose this round, Nick, that's going to be the end of the game. But what? I didn't see their money before they committed to the force here, but I am not sure about this decision. And Heartbreak is saved, which means he wants to try and buy an AWP in the next round, but it doesn't even matter if you only have an AWP and your teammates don't have any weapons. So very disjointed right now from DNMK, and they've already lost 2 players.
They've conceded the game.
I think this is going to be 16-12 from here. I don't know what they're going to be able to do in the next round, considering they went for the force and they've gotten literally nothing done in this round, Nick. They haven't even done 1 point of damage. This is questionable to say the least. Adaro should be going down here on the angle to the Desert Eagle. No, he's going to be able to find the frag onto the man. And now it's just Divo left in the 1 versus 5. He's trying to finish off that kill, and finally he'll be able to get it done. But that's going to be of little consolation as he goes down as well. 15-12.
You had 2 rounds of loss bonus as well. It's not like you had max loss bonus behind you, which warranted that force buy where you could get up some galils. You've now got $2,500 in the bank for the most part. Heartbreak is the only one that's actually going to be able to purchase up an AK, let alone drop any, or let alone a big green gun being in the server. But it's just Dynamic. They've pretty much given Goliath the map. Unless we see what they can do on Deagles, we've seen what they can do in the force buys. But Goliath, they've really got the wheels rolling. They look like a fine oiled machine. Do Goliath. So
yeah, well, I mean, they've certainly started to look a lot more convincing in these past 3 or 4 rounds. It was ever since they actually dropped the AWPs, right? And they got the rifles and they just totaled in the bomb sites and waited for DNMK to get aggressive. That's what set their fire in the engine right now. Now DNMK, they're going to have to try and get the job done with 2 AKs and a couple upgraded pistols. They've got some util at their disposal as well, but they're going to have to go up against 3 map points here for Goliath Gaming. To try and take this to overtime, Nick, they can't even close it out in regulation anymore. Remember, this is Goliath Gaming's map pick. After this, we're going to Vertigo. And I was going to say, look at the stack towards B. But it's still Kani. He's able to find 1. He goes down, though. And it's a 4 versus 4 as a result. But DNMK, they've got free reign on the say bomb side. Of course, they won't know it, Nick. But there is nobody here for Goliath right now. And Diver with the AWP close is taking down another one. So surely this is DNMK's round, right?
Or depending on which way this early
Where's
control.
The bomb?
That's the bomb.
No, what's the bomb?
What
is he doing?
What's going on?
Why has he done that? What a blunder.
What a blunder.
Shout out Henry G, one of the best Counter-Strike commentators of all time. Heck, one of the best esports commentators of all time, Dweezil and Diver, the double Ds, to try and get the job done for DNMK, and Diver will do it as he takes down Adaro. Still keeping the hopes alive here for DNMK. 57 seconds left. ADM still hovering around the bomb here, trying to shut them down. He now knows where both of the players are. He needs to stay alive for as long as he can, because Massacre will be activating momentarily. Dweezil takes him down, but they're not going to be expecting him to come from Boiler. He finds the first. Divo still has the AWP in his hands. He's got a 3-piece in the round, but it's not going to be enough. He goes down, and 16-12 is the scoreline as Goliath Gaming secured their map pick, not without an uphill battle though.
Goliath, ultimately, they were up 9-6 at the half.
Yeah.
They just played that well to close it out ultimately, and we saw that when they dropped the AWPs, things started looking really good for them. They had 2 really clean buy rounds, 5 players staying alive, and Goliath, kudos to them, they clean up their map pick 16-12. But something to keep in mind, coming into this dynamic, they only had double digits on one map, but that was Vertigo.
Yeah.
And now, maybe today's a different day. They've just got double digits on Inferno, which they've actually been stomped on in previous times, so maybe Vertigo is going to be looking different.
It's a good point, Nick, but DNMK is still going to be hurting right now after the back of that result. They were in very good positions a number of times when it was 12-12, that full gun round. If they'd won that, they reset Goliath's economy to go ahead 13-12. They had that opportunity to potentially close out Inferno. Goliath's map, a map that they are the best in the country on, and unfortunately they dropped the ball when it matters the most. So that is the first map done and dusted. Inferno goes the way of Goliath Gaming. We have got Vertigo up next. It is DNMK's pick. As Nick said, the last time they went head-to-head on the map, Goliath Gaming won it narrowly 16-14. DNMK, they're going to have to go one further this time to keep themselves alive in the lower bracket final. They're going to have to take it to dust too if they're going to be standing any chance here in the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5 Comic-Con Africa Online. My name is Hayes. I'm joined by Nick, and we will be back after this break where we've got some really cool interviews for you guys. We have got interviews with the owners of both Goliath Gaming and DNMK that we recorded over the past few days. Hope you guys enjoy, and when we come back, we will have that second map. We have got the owner of Goliath Gaming on the line with us, Ashton Miller, who has formed the organization, along with a few other people as well, but certainly one of the main faces on the line. Welcome, Ash.
I'm looking forward to some good CS. Thank you for the introduction, Hayes. And yeah, happy to be really keen for some good CS. I mean,
yeah,
I think it's the classic for the last, 10 years. I think it's been the VS Gaming build-up up until, the September, October, and this is the final event. This is what it all boils up to. So
yeah,
very
I
excited.
mean, predominantly throughout those years, you would have been grinding really hard right now in the server, getting ready for the events yourself. But of course, you hung up the keyboard and mouse. You took over the role of owning an MGO. What compelled you to start an MGO in the first place?
I mean, quite a few things really. I think the bottom line, I think, was always the fact that, the impact that CS had on my life. I kind of felt that I needed to do something that would kind of leave the scene as a whole in whatever way possible better than the way the way I found it. So that's one of the founding factors. Obviously, towards the end of my career, got to play all over the world, and got to play against some of the best players in the world. And even though I knew pretty early on that I wasn't going to necessarily get to that level, it felt like it was something that I wanted to be a part of, and hopefully one day be able to do and support someone that will be able to get there, take it to the next level. And I think the bottom line of every single ambitious CS player from the Bravado guys, it's always been putting SA on the map, and I think that's just always something that has been a goal. And after being in those top tier MGOs, just really wanted to kind of replicate that and help contribute to professionalizing the industry, and hopefully just help and contribute to something long-term sustainable and just build the esports scene, really. I mean, get to a point that we can all provide opportunities for future ambitious gamers to chase their dreams, man, and for it to be realistic for them.
Love it. 100%. And you say obviously everyone knows you came from that player sort of background. So now you've transitioned into an MGO owner. So I think it's definitely something big coming from players seeing you where you came from. You definitely have the same drive that the players do. And I think the players can definitely feed off something from that from you.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a two-way street, right? It's what fuels me as well. And when we take L's or we have successes, we share that as a team. I think it kind of relates back to what old Seb said, the two-time TI winner. It's play together, win together, lose together, slay together, slay together, slay together.
Nice.
And I think, so even for me, when if we don't get a desired result, it feels like I'm obviously heartbroken. I mean, it's my team, the brand, it's a business. You want the W, but at the same time, I think what like really gets me is like I know how much it means to players. I mean, over the last 3 years, even teams before that, like it's heartbreaking, man. It's what's the best feeling in the world, and I think knowing what they want, how much they've put in, how much they're doing, how much this means to them. I think that's what gets me going. That's what impacts me, and yeah, I mean, I'm here today to share whatever happens with them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously owning an org, like you said, it's a fantastic thing when it's at the top. What would you say some of the biggest challenges are that you've come across, starting the Goliath Gaming organization and trying to build it to the point where you want it to be?
I think a simple disconnect compared to the international scene between what we try to do. I think in many aspects of the scene, and obviously brands that need to be involved to kind of support it and help it get where it needs to be. I think that obviously in South Africa we're naturally isolated, naturally a little bit behind, and we spent some time trying to catch up. And I think trying to make people understand the value of what they're supporting and what we're trying to do in this space, I think is probably the most difficult conundrum. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing in the world that's easy. Life's not fair. And ultimately, you just got to try and attack those challenges. But I think those gaps are being closed. I think specifically in the last 12 months, I think even this year as well, I think everything from the content creators, everything from the people branching out into their own podcasts. I mean, we've got Nick here that's brand new, fresh on the scene, and he's busy interviewing me here for the main comp of the year. It feels like all elements of the esports scene that fit together have been improved. Like, players are improving in terms of what value they bring in. The brands are bringing the value or bringing the value to brands and keeping them involved. And I think overall, as I'm a dying optimist, but I think everybody's stepping up in that regard. From tiers, all the elements are improving, and I think that's good to see.
What is the next step for Goliath coming in after this Telkom VS Gaming Masters? What's the next step for Goliath in the pipeline?
Well, I mean, for us, we just carry on doing what we do. I think, obviously, look forward towards the end of the year. Now that restrictions and things like that have slowly been lowered, and it looks, and touch wood, but this COVID thing is kind of fallen to the wayside. Hopefully, open things up, and we can see more events and more stuff happening towards the end of the year. And I think it's just bang out 2021 as best as possible. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay, Ash. Well, thank you so much for giving us some of your time, man. It was really great to hear your thoughts and just get some insights into the workings of Goliath and what you guys have lined up. And wish you guys all the best, man. You guys have definitely set a standard in South Africa, and just continue working at that. And keen to see where you guys can take things.
Yeah, appreciate that, and likewise, guys. I mean, I'm really looking forward to you two entertaining us and give it on. So I'm really looking forward to the game.
Okay, fantastic, guys. Thank you so much, Ash. All right, guys, that is the owner of Goliath Gaming. We're joined by Julia Robson, the owner of DNMK and a long-time standing member of the South African esports scene, a content creator for as long as you like, and certainly one of the stalwarts in the scene. Julia, thank you so much for joining us and giving us some of your time. Let's just jump straight into it. You recently started the org. What was your inspiration to create an organization of your own?
There was an opportunity. It presented itself in early April. And we took about a month and so to just conceptualize the brand. And then we decided to launch May 2020, which was when we also partnered with Adidas, just very preliminarily. We had a good relationship with them, specifically from the Bish brand. So we basically took my Bish brand and expanded it as far as we could.
That's really awesome. And you said you've started very recently, and we've seen this collaboration with Predator come out, and we see that you've supplied equipment for the dynamic boys in the 5-man roster. So what has gone behind the backing of the org to the players? What is the theory behind that?
Cool, yeah. So I think the biggest thing is that the brands that I've been working with the Bish brand, has been such a long-standing relationship, and we've done so many things, that this was something that I've always sort of spoke about and preempted. Like, I definitely wanted my own team. And for a while I played Apex Legends, and we had a fully sponsored Apex Legends team. So that was an easy switch for us within the org to have our Apex Legends team kitted, and the next step was obviously to also kit out the CS guys. So luckily Predator was really keen to get on board with this, and kitted them all out with 240Hz monitors and Orion 3000 PCs.
Yeah, I've seen the FPS those guys are getting is insane. There's certainly no excuses anymore when it comes from the equipment they have at their disposal, which is exactly what you want as an org, right? You want to enable your players as much as you possibly can to give them every chance they need at being successful. So I think that's really cool that you guys have done that. Just moving on a little bit more, talking about the org once again. What are your goals for DNMK as a whole, as the owner of the organization? Of course, it's much greater than just one esports team or something like that. So what are you looking to achieve in the end of the day?
Yeah, we have big dreams, very, very big plans as well that should be rolling out in the next few months. And we're really hoping to tackle 2021 with, a really big DNMK launch.
Nice.
That will be expanding very soon. But we are excited to just take the org as far as we can. Luckily, we have really good support within the community, but also from our sponsors and investors. So we really are keen to make this a successful org and one that, speaks volumes within the esports community locally.
100%. And you guys have been on the scene for a very short amount of time compared to the other big orgs, but you guys are really paving the way for South African esports. So I wanted to hear your advice to smaller org owners. Any tips you could give to them? Because obviously you guys have been here for such a short amount of time, but you've made such a trademark on the South African scene. So something for like small org owners to sort of explode in the scene similar to yourselves. Any advice for them?
Well, I think my biggest advice is specifically if you're a new org owner is to really make sure that you do your research and speak to people and have a mentor. For me, luckily, again, I was fortunate enough to have friends that's been owning orgs for many years, and it's easier for me to then go and, ask the questions and make sure that I'm prepared for what is to come. And specifically managing such a niche community at the moment, it is important for us to make sure that we represent it properly. So
yeah, I mean, the South African scene, it's incredibly tight-knit, right? And everybody is happy to help where we can to try and enable other people around us. So I love that advice. Use the people around you who have been through it, done that, they've got the experience. So I couldn't agree with you more. Just one more question from me, Jules. You guys as an organization haven't just been focusing on the esports scene to try and create a name for yourselves, and it's a bit of a trend that's been starting recently with a few other orgs as well. You guys have been putting quite a lot of focus on content creators and giving them some of the spotlight as well. What has been the reason for taking that angle and actually giving them that platform?
Well, in the end of the day, our content creators are the people that speak esports to the general public. So it is important for us to see the talent out there, and specifically the people that work so hard. And obviously referring to Tendo here, he puts in so much time, so much hours that it's only fair to go and support those people that have such a passion and drive to grow the local esports community and make sure that they're enabled to do so and back to do so. So that was definitely a focus for me, considering I was a content creator for so long and still am. But I've taken a little bit of a step back where I know that my passion is within business, and with this new venture with DNMK, I would like to put in all my effort in there. So
awesome.
I think it's important to look at our content creators and see, okay, well, this is definitely the future, and give them the opportunity to do so.
Awesome. Well, Jules, the one thing I will say is that you guys have set the bar very, very high. You're doing it exactly as I think you should be, from my own little personal opinion. I think you guys are really approaching this fantastically, and you're building a very impressive brand, at least from the outside. It's looking really good. So keep up with the amazing work.
Thank you.
It's really healthy for the scene.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, great. Cool. Well, Jules, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. It's great to hear from you, and good luck to your boys in the server today.
Yeah, good luck, guys.
Awesome. Cool, guys. That is Julia Bish Robson, the owner of DNMK. Nick, it's been a brand to actually watch. As you said, it's been explosive growth for them, and they've really taken the scene by storm.
Yeah, definitely, especially when you've been around for such a short amount of time and you've just come onto the scene and everyone just sees 240 hertz monitors and banging equipment. So I think they're really taking strides in the South African scene, and I think definitely other orgs can follow in their path. Even though they're maybe younger than the rest of them, I think they're really setting standards, even though they've only been around for half a year, if that. And I think they're really setting standards for other orgs.
Yeah, you and me both. Exactly that. So that was Julia Bish Robson we had on the line, the owner of DNMK. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5. We are in the main event. It is Comic-Con Africa Online and we are in the middle of a scintillating series between Goliath Gaming and DNMK. We just came off the back of the first map, which was Inferno, picked by Goliath, and it was won by Goliath 16-12, but it was a close map indeed. Nick, chances for DNMK that went to bigging.
Yeah, definitely. I think DNMK, they really had the wheels rolling there. They had all 5 players turning up besides a couple, so I think we saw the difference yesterday. Nexus dropped 35 kills. It was sort of a one-man show. Dynamic, they all showed up today, but ultimately Goliath, they were able to win out the map 16-12, but they're going to be looking forward, Dynamic that is, they're going to be looking forward to Vertigo and try winning out their map pick.
Yeah, exactly that. Vertigo is the map where they came super close last time. They narrowly lost 16-14. They're going to have to go one further this time if they're somehow going to be taking this all the way to a grand final performance, which means they will need to win here on Vertigo, earn themselves a map on Dust 2, win Dust 2, and then from there go into the grand final. It's a tall order, but it is doable.
Yeah, definitely. Both these sides, they definitely have an opportunity to win out in this series regardless. I think Goliath, they're more favourites, and especially to take out the 2-0 victory. I don't think anyone would have had their bets hedged on a Dynamic 2-0.
Yeah.
But you never know, right? It's the lovely game of Counter-Strike. We can see maybe Dynamic can turn it around, finish out the 2-1. But I still think coming into the second and the third map, if we do see it, Goliath are definitely looking at favourites. But again, they're fighting for everything, right? They're fighting for that spot in the grand final, and maybe even an Energy Academy-esque run that we could be delving our eyes on.
I mean, if DNMK lose this map, it's the end of Dweezil's fairy tale run as well, with the Comic-Con. The back-to-back dream will be destroyed. So let's see exactly how that's going to be playing out. The one tough ask here for DNMK is that they're not going up against a team who aren't fluent and familiar with Vertigo, right? Goliath Gaming have played it a number of times against ATK, so much so that ATK have started banning it against Goliath Gaming. So that speaks volumes as to how good Goliath actually have been on that map. So it's not like this is a situation where often teams don't play Vertigo and the one team has been able to pick it, so they're like heavy favorites. No, even though DNMK have picked the map in the series, Goliath are still very comfortable on the map.
Yeah, Goliath are especially sound on a map like Vertigo, and Dynamic's approach seems to be one-dimensional to a certain extent. They just seem to leave Nexus in middle. So if Goliath rather find themselves with one man left alive and it happens to be Nexus, you're probably going to be fighting him over towards middle. But definitely, Goliath, they've been taking the fight towards ATK. As you said, they banned it against Goliath earlier this week. They instead played Inferno against them, which is something to keep in mind. So if Goliath are going to take ATK toe-to-toe on a map like Vertigo, then we're going to see what Dynamic can get done. Obviously, they've been pracking it. They've been confident enough to pick it. And we're going to be able to watch the game unfold. It's Goliath, it's Dynamic, it's map number 2 of the Telkom VS Masters Season 5 lower bracket final. Winner books their spot in the grand final, and we have a match on our hands.
We certainly do, Nick. DNMK, they find themselves on the T side. They've got 2 flashes left in the way of utility, and they're going to be bursting out of middle here with 3 players looking to try and charge Massacre down, who will be able to find 2 taps before he goes down. Kani, though, unfortunately, amongst the chaos, he can't even find a single kill. And now it's all on these T players taking full control on B. I got a bit baited there by the HUD. Of course, it's a bit slow there to react that Massacre's been taken down. Zip, hoping he's not going to be slow to react, and that's a fantastic headshot onto the man as he takes him down, maintaining that one-man advantage for Goliath Gaming. Bomb plant does come through for Divo, but that's all he's going to be able to contribute to the round, as Dweezil is left now in a 1 versus 3. They know where he is. He's trying to be proactive. He wants to force the issue. He can't afford to sit back and wait, but they're just going to triple peek him. He has been able to find the first. Very low. Oh, Dweezil! He finds all 3 of them. All of them headshots as well. And he secures the pistol round for his team. What in God's name was that from Dweezil?
Dweezil back against the wall. He wants it all. He wants the back-to-back-to-back Comic-Con victory. He wants the 3-peat, and what does he do? He finishes out the 1v3. Goliath, they're resting on their laurels. That round didn't go their way. Dynamic post the first on their map pick, and Dweezil, he's warm and he's feeling it, and he's even perched up the AK. 5 rifles on the side of Dynamic, but it is once again a force buy coming out from Goliath.
Yeah, that's going to be...
What just happened?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one for Goliath to sustain. A pistol round in which they had everything going for them. It was really clean as well towards the end. But Dweezil just lands the Glock headshots necessary. Sometimes the Glock does that, right? It's your friend. It just feels like every bullet you shoot has a magnet in it that is attracted to the CT's brain. Here's the force spine response from Goliath, as you said, and Kaine's going to be opening things up, but he finds a second headshot onto Heartbreak. Surely not a third here. He does land the tag onto the man, so that brings these pistols into play. It certainly does, as Dweezil continues to do damage. He's got the AK. He picks up a swift 2 kill, which make that a 3-piece. Secures the round for DNMK, which was looking very tentative at one stage. It was almost looking like a done deal. That nade, though, it's not on the planter, though. The planter's not the one with low health. Zip rattling off a few bullets. It seemed like it would be destined for him to connect on at least one and find the frag, but not sure he's going to be able to get anything done here. Dweezil looking for the 4K in this round, and I think he's going to be able to find it as well, Nick. 7 kills in 2 rounds.
Dweezil is showing up. He's ready to book his spot in the grand final, even though it's an uphill battle. They still have to win out Vertigo and Dust 2 after this, but they're definitely having their mindset on Vertigo. It is a BO1. They're going to treat it as such, and we're going to see what Dynamic can get done. They definitely want to fight it out and finish out the BO3 on Dust 2, but they're definitely going to be treating this as a one-map affair in this regard. They definitely don't want to be getting ahead of themselves. Dweezil's already posted 7 kills. He hasn't died. He's on a way to some kill streaks. Maybe he's going to be posting some up in the game, but there's no kill streaks in the game we know and love.
Reverse
Double flash
James
over
Bond.
towards Ramp, the man. He's going to take down what all the trades. What is going on? Flash 2v2. This is a full eco.
Yeah,
Bomb's been dropped.
Nice usage from Goliath to get themselves into this position, but I don't think it's going to be enough to secure them in the round because Dweezil's still alive, and Dweezil's been the insurance for his team so far. ADM stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. The walls are closing in on him, and he's a dead man walking. Dweezil's just going to spray him down through the top. So, I mean, he was 7-0-0. He was like the reverse James Bond.
Yeah.
But now he's just creating a completely new agent name.
Yeah, geez, it's called him Dweezy Easy or something. I don't know.
Well, we are heading into the first full gun round now. Goliath, they're going to have the full weapons at their disposal. They're going to have the rifle in the hands of ADM as well. Plenty of utility on most of their players. On the flip side, DNMK, they've also got everything they could ask for right now. AKs across the board and util. The one thing is that they don't have as much money as they would have liked because of how many players they dropped in the previous round, and Dweezil will be dropped here again. Tries to get ahead of the smoke, but he ends up just getting a bullet in the head.
That's the first time he's been dropped, which is nuts to think about. That you're 3 rounds in, yes, you've posted 10, but the opening kill does go the way of Goliath in the first buy round that we're watching over on Vertigo. ADM, he's got all this info over towards a ramp, and if a Fatih rather is a bit lackadaisical, he could be caught out. But Nexus, he's going to catch out Massacre in middle. He's tagged down to 22 points of ult, so Dara's going to have to rotate in and try get something done. He mollies off middle scaffold to hold off this B pinch that could possibly come in. It is just Zip tasked with holding this down, as well as Canny down towards the bottom of ramp. A remolly comes in, which buys them a bit of extra time. But we're all going to see where Dynamic choose to end off the round. They are creeping up towards A.
Yeah, look how much util they still have. DNMK can get the full execute going if they so please. Support flashes coming through from Zip so that Adara can get information towards mid. All in the meanwhile, DNMK, they're edging their way towards us, bomb side, and ADM's going to get caught off guard by Nexus, and off the back of that, they're going to be charging forward. Goliath Gaming in a pretty tough position right now. Nice frag there by Zip means that they can focus all their attention towards the bomb side. Adaro going to be able to deny the plant there. Divo not using the full cover afforded to him, so he goes down. Nexus is going to get sprayed down through the smoke as well. The timing was on point for Zip. Now it's left on Heartbreak in the 1 versus 2, but there's only 8 seconds left for him to try and work with, and surely this is the end of the road for him. He goes down to Adaro as well. And Goliath Gaming snap up that all-important round, and it could look like it was awkward at one stage though.
It definitely did, and Zip, he's just rotating in towards A, and he just happens to catch collateral damage over towards the man in middle, just like literally A-keying across the middle of middle, but he takes down the man, and that allows the retake to come in. He then gets another one through the smoke, and Goliath, they finish out the first buy round. 3-1 is the score, so this is going to be something interesting. But even though Dynamic were able to win 3 in a row, the economy is not looking great, so they're just going to opt for some deagles and some armor, and the first person to fall in the round is Nexus over towards middle. Massacre's going to be able to farm up some cash in the meantime, and Divo, he's already tagged down to 16 points of health. ADM's had a bit of a slow start to this map, but I highly doubt that that's still going to be the case 5 rounds or 10 rounds later.
So something I'm interested to keep my eyes on here as we see a nice few shots from Adaro, but just anti-eco kills, so we won't give them too much love. Goliath Gaming were persisting quite a lot with the double AWP setup on their CT side Vertigo last weekend in the Soldiers of Fortune event, and that double AWP setup, it paid zero dividends. They were winning. The only rounds they were winning was actually when they had most of the rifles on the server. So I chatted to ADM about that, and he did acknowledge that that approach didn't work out too well for them. So I think we're going to be seeing a far more single AWP-centric approach coming through from Goliath in this half, and giving Kanye a bit more freedom with that rifle towards the B-bomb site. We'll have to see how it plays out. Another full gun round here for both of these teams. Goliath looking to level things up. They're also being more proactive towards ramp right now with their utility usage, but Heartbreak just goes for the gamble spray, and the bullets connect. He takes down ADM. Dara going to be hanging around here, but as soon as that smoke starts to dissipate, it's going to get very awkward very quickly.
The question is, who spots who first? Heartbreak is trained on Adara's position is what it looks like, but Divo, he's up close and personal. Question is, who has the time? The flash comes in.
He doesn't spot the second. Oh my
good
god.
For one.
That would have been huge if he was able to get both of those kills. Nice support flash that came through from Kani, but it's still the one-man advantage for DNMK that perpetuates.
It is going to be interesting to see whether Goliath do choose to still push the issue over towards ramp. Nexus, he spots out Zip-Zip's arm and actually peppers him a little bit more through the smoke. Zip-Zip is going to try to press the issue. The flash comes in, so Zip-Zip is going to be blind. He's going to retreat over towards the left side of CT. So it is still a man advantage for the side of Dynamic, but Masker, he's got the info over towards Millet. There's two players there, but it is just going to be a B pinch coming in. Masker, he's just going to try to stay alive and buy some time for his teammates from the rotate. But Zip-Zip is going to be the first to fall. There's still no Masker's position with the MP9. He did pepper a few shots early in the round. So now it's Kani and Masker left in a 2v4 retake. There's a play over towards middle, but Masker falls to Dweezil over towards quad. And
he's speaking about falling.
He's pro.
Oh god.
Pepe hands.
That's been a while since I've seen that in a game I've been casting, at least. Kani. He just taps D one too many times, and unfortunately for him, there was no more ground for him. So, long way to the bottom from him, or for him. Goliath Gaming, they're going to be able to buy up again here with rifles across the board, but they've expended all the money that they had left in the bank. So lose this, and it's going to be an eco. DNMK in a good position right now on their T side, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. This is a pivotal round. The flashes are going to come in, the early ramp control. The duels are going to go the way of either team. Trades come out. Dara is good for one. Dweezil and Divo chime in for one of their own. So now it's a 3v3 mid-round. Dweezil is tagged down to 30 points of health. And Nexus takes down Zip-Zip in middle. Heartbreak is going to push the issue and take out Adara and Dynamic. They're looking really good on the T side of Vertigo right now. Now it's Kani left. Fell off the map the previous round. He's still alive. 1 minute 20 seconds left on the clock. He's pushed B ramp. He does know that it is possibly going to be an A play. But this fast flank, Dweezil seems to be wary of it.
Yeah, as soon as he gets naded there, he's like, what the hell? Like, I've just been like shift walking the whole way from the B-bomb site, and I eat a grenade as I come through around the corner. You could see Goliath, they wanted to try and brawl their way into this round. They took the fight towards T-Ramp, it didn't work out for them. And DNMK, after they've secured the plant, they've gone all the way back towards CT, spawn, and connector. They're not giving Kani an inch right now in this retake. He's going to try and make it happen as he makes his way forward, but the timing's just not there for him, and now they've got the information as well. Interesting molly from Heartbreak, because now he can't actually peek necessarily. The flash comes through from Kani, but going to be missing the mark. So DNMK, they go up 5-2. And they start to put a bit of distance between themselves and Goliath, Nick.
Yeah, this is probably the first time we've seen this sort of showing from Dynamic. Yes, they've posted 5. They've got a 3-round advantage. Goliath, they're going to have to eco into this one. So we're possibly going to see a 4-round buffer before we see the next buy round. But Dynamic, they got to clean this one up as clean as possible. If they do fall to the pistols, they won't have a great buy into the next due to the economy structure. But it is the man. He's just going to be running up B ramp. He's going to decapitate Kani, and just going to be damage mitigation for the side of Dynamic. But over in the bomb side, Masker's going to take Dweezil's head off through the box, but he's not good for many more. The man, Adara, okay, they're going to make this round as expensive as possible. 2 players left, so there shouldn't really be much more that happens, and it is going to be cleaned up by the players.
Thought there might be a TK there. You know, sometimes when your teammate's in front of you and he's very low, a stray bullet just connects, and that's the end of the road. Not the case there, though. DNMK go up 6-2 as we're going to be having another full gun round here. ADM straight up it goes for the AWP. He's actually yet to get on the board here, Nick. 0-7 for him. He has got that last cannon AWP to work with in this round, but he's going to have to start finding his footing soon if Goliath are going to be competitive here.
Yeah, he's repositioned over towards middle, and there he's going to post. He's going to find some success and post his first kill rather of the map. He was previously over towards the A ramp, didn't find any success there, but Kani, he's going to get shot in the back of the head by Dweezil. So it is early trades going the way of both sides. And ADM, he's going to double his account for this round. He's going to take out Heartbreak. ADM, he's shown up. It may have taken him 8 rounds to warm up, but the 9th round, he's already posted 2 as the air execute is going to come in. And he's going to try post towards the angle that Diver could entertain him from. But a flash is going to come in and should ward ADM off the angle.
Yeah, all in the meanwhile, I was going to say Dweezil's just faking towards the B bomb site slightly. He's trying to pull a bit of heat off of that A site and create an opportunity for his teammates to potentially get in. But as Goliath, they're not biting. They've still got 2 players committed to this A bomb site. ADM covering it hard with the AWP, and then you've also got Adaro there in the support structure. So they're still ready and waiting to welcome DNMK. Though, as I say that, they start second-guessing themselves, Nick. Looks like they're concerned it could be the B execute. They're concerned about middle as well. They can certainly play for the retake on A. That's not much of an issue, but the problem is they don't really have any util to make that retake happen with. They've only got the 1 molly on Zip, as well as the only kit on him as well. So he's an absolute integral part of this retake right now. Adaro will catch Diver off, though he couldn't get off the bomb side, unfortunately. So still a 1-man advantage here for Goliath Gaming as they start making their way forward. But like I said, this retake is not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. Both the man and Dweezil still left alive. Full health for both of them as well, pretty much. And they are just biding their time, waiting for Goliath to make their next move as they swing out, as they get aggressive. Then they can start to try and take the fights, but nothing going to go either of their ways. Adaro and Massacre cleaned it up. Nice patience and discipline there from Goliath, not to get too frustrated and not to fret, considering how close that round was getting.
Definitely, they really just took that retake very methodically. They cleaned out the angles. There wasn't as much util as they would have liked. As you said, it was just that molly that went over towards sandbags, but they took the aim fights together. They were able to get the trades out if any of them did fall, but the 3-man retake is in full succession. Diver ultimately just caught in transition, which allowed that retake to come into place. That Dweezil took contact over towards ramp, and then the man over towards Skinny couldn't get anything done. But that's the first buy round. I would go as far to say one of the first, at least, that Goliath have posted. 3-6 the score, and Adara and Dweezil, they're going head to head in this battle. Adara is 12-6, I think, and Dweezil, I think he's 13. He's got 13 frags.
Okay.
So both of them, they're really showing up in this matchup.
Both of these teams pretty much investing everything they've got into the round. Nick, whoever loses this is going to be forced into an eco situation, and the winner will be taking control of the economy. So a lot at stake here in this round, as DNMK are leaning towards the safe bomb side. All 5 of their players are on the side of the map right now, and they're going to have the second pump in the XQ coming through. Kanye just making sure Massacre's warm, and as DNMK start making their way forward. Looks like they're going to be able to find a plant at the bare minimum here. The spray comes through. Heartbreak somehow going to be able to get out alive, but so much damage has been done in the process.
Yeah, it's a 5v5 post plant. You don't really see these too often, but Heartbreak, he's going to take first contact over towards sandbags. If he's not mollied out, he's going to be doing some good damage. He takes down ADM, and now it's going to be a 4v5. Diver's in a very decent position to dodge all these flashbangs and activate, but Adara is going to take the kill over towards Heartbreak. Massacre takes out Nexus. Diver and Dweezil are going to chime in for one of their own, and now it's a 2v3. Kanye's good for 1, but Diver's position could go overlooked. Kanye's going to tap the bomb to try bring out the peak. Zip, he's left in a 1v2. And ultimately great post plant positions coming out from Dynamic, and they take the gunfights together and they post the 7th on the board. A 4-round difference between the 2 of them, but Zip, he's able to save that AWP.
I think Divo, I don't know if he died to the bomb explosion or if he fell off the map at the end, because I thought the bomb exploded and he was still alive and then he died. So I'm not sure what happened. We didn't quite catch that. Anyway, nice position there by Divo, just sitting around the pillar, and you could see that was the plan, right? Because they planted the bomb for him, so he was the insurance throughout the entirety of that round. Dweezil with the job to do towards B right now. We'll be able to find Kanye, and Zip is just slightly too far behind to get the trade. He's throwing the utility, so he wasn't able to get through in time. And it's Heartbreak with the AWP continuing to plague Goliath Gaming.
This early battle towards B ramp just seems to be going Dweezil's way like 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, but it's a Zip who's going to catch Dweezil off this time round. So at least that levels things back out, right? 4 versus 4. Yeah,
Kanye just hasn't had the best luck towards B ramp rather, but it is going to be a 4v4 in the mid round. Adara has been legged down to an early AWP shot that came out from Heartbreak. Massacre's got a pretty advanced position over towards A, so he's got all this info. Adara is meant to take all the aggro in this sort of engagement. Massacre is tasked with shooting people in the back of the head, but it is going to be a contact play up towards the B bomb site. The man and Dive are going to try to press the issue, and if good supporting flashes do come in from ADM, it could allow for his teammates on the B bomb site to have a decent time. But Zip, he's going to be the one that's going to be full blind. The bomb is going to be planted
Nice.
over towards the B bomb site with a man advantage going the way of Dynamic.
Very nice execute there from Goliath Gaming, the way that they had the two players in the corner in those forward positions, and Goliath Gaming just weren't aware of that, so they were able to pounce on that B bomb site. But it doesn't look like the job's done just yet, as Massacre finds 2 with the MP9, a cool $1,200 for him, and he's still been able to stay alive. But Divo dancing around this B bomb site continues to do damage. However, Massacre, he's going to find the timing on the peak, and ADM's also got a kit, Nick. I was going to be suggesting that Goliath should be considering the save there, but Massacre finds that quick 2K, and all of a sudden gets an avenue of entry back into the round for Goliath Gaming.
And look at the money for Dynamic. It's absolutely in the dumpsters. Like what Massacre did that round with the MP9, not only does he get all the money with those couple MP9 kills, you're also able to save the AK and ultimately win the round. But you said you spoke to ADM, you spoke about the AWP setup, and now Canny and ADM, they've got it out.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's against an eco. Yes, they don't exactly know that it is going to be an eco, but it's going to be Canny locking down this B bomb side. He's good for 1 into Heartbreak, and now he's going to be tasked with staying alive for as long as possible. He's going to drop the molly to stop them getting up close to personal, but Zip is going to be his guardian angel. He's good for 2. These are just eco frags, so if the man can just plant the bomb, it will be a round win in itself. Zip is good for another, and he's going to clean it up with the 3rd in the round. Great hold for the side of Goliath, and they're going to be able to post their 5th. And Canny and Zip warding off that B hit.
Yeah, well dealt with by them, right? Sometimes that B aggression can get very tough to deal with if they get a bit further forward than you'd like, before you've sort of done a bit of damage to them and been able to slow them down. If those pistols get onto the B bomb side before you find a frag sort of thing, it can become very awkward very quickly. But Goliath Gaming did what was required of them. The double AWP setup will continue into this gun round. And this is a really vital gun round for DNMK, just to continue on this run on this T side. If they can pick up this gun round, a 10-5 scoreline is certainly possible. If they lose this though, and Goliath to take it all the way to 8-7, that would be a massive let-off for them, as Massacre just continues to do so much damage right now. He's got a 3K in the round. Eventually he's going to be traded up, but ADM right there in close proximity with his AWP to make sure that the 2-man advantage does continue for his team. And Nexus, who did such a great job in their game the last time these two teams played on Vertigo towards middle, just hasn't been able to find that same sort of success this time round. Zip's already come through with the backstabs to shut him down. 6-7, Nick, and Goliath Gaming about to draw level, as DNMK are going to have to eco.
And a couple of rounds ago, I was saying, like, you know, Dynamic, they've got such a big lead, they're looking really good, and now Goliath, they're just shutting them out in these buy rounds.
Yeah, it's taken a while to get there.
Yeah,
but
100%. But it is going to be Dynamic. They're going to call out a tactical timeout just to talk things over. 7-6 is the score. They're not going to invest into this round. They shouldn't, at least. So Goliath, they should be drawing even. But you never know. You always speak about South Africans with Deagles, and we're going to see what they can get done. But it does look like it is going to be a 7-all score. The AWP setup is up once again. If they do lose this round, they should have enough bank for the most part to eke out a buy in the next with some decent weaponry. That is Goliath in that case. But it is going to be 7-6 to the side of Dynamic, and they're looking decent on this T side, but they're going to be wanting to finish out this half 9-6 as fast as possible, but they are eco, so maybe it's going to be 8-7 best case scenario for them.
Yeah, if Goliath Gaming can make this an 8-7 halftime scoreline, they're going to be feeling so good heading into the second half, and that double AWP, or rather the double nade comes through, and Adaro, it's the util. There's 3 kills that have come through in this round from utility alone. Finally, a gun will find a frag. Adaro wanted that ace so desperately. He turned into an F1 race car, charged towards ramp, found a kill, but he ran out of fuel shortly after. Dweezil looking to do some damage over the Desert Eagle. Will be able to get one. Nice clean one shot from him, but 7-7, Nick, like I said, if Goliath can secure 8-7 here, they're going to be feeling so good heading into the second half. This half has got away from DNMK, man.
Definitely, it definitely has, especially when they had a 4-round buffer at the start. I think they were 6-2 up at a stage. To think that you've only posted 1 in the last 6 rounds or so. So it's something to keep in mind, right? Especially if you're Goliath. Yes, you had a slow start to your ADM, but you're starting to feel it. You're hitting your AWP shot. You've got 5 kills and 5 assists. But again, this A-ramp aggression is going to be coming out for both them. ADM's playing up close personal with the AWP. He no-scopes Nexus.
What are you doing, Adam?
Smoke. And is he going to go back for more?
No.
Please,
There's only so much
go
one
back
man can take, surely. Finally, he does go back into the bomb site. My God, I thought he was dead for all money there, but somehow he has those lightning quick reactions and he's able to get that no-scope. And Zip Zip will re-explore that part of the map as Massacre takes a fight as well. And it's Goliath just throwing numbers at the situation right now. But they're worse for wear as they lose most of their jewels. And it's DNMK who are going to be executing into the A bomb site with a one-man advantage. Leg shot comes through there from ADM. It's a double AWP to try and make this retake happen with, Nick. This is the problem with bringing the double AWP to the setup on Vertigo. You're pretty much always retaking on the CT side. Let's see if Kani and ADM can somehow get the job done. Kani getting aggressive, but he's been rounded on by Heartbreak. And Adam pretty much burnt to a crisp already. He only has 5 points of health left. They know exactly where he is. And it's going to be an 8-7 halftime scoreline for DNMK. Just moments before ADM goes down, yeah. I'm sure of it. I'm calling it. There's nothing he can get done, unfortunately. It's even taken him too long to find this first kill. So it's pretty much a lost cause at this point. And it's a mere formality, so he does go down. What I will say is I think that Goliath got a little bit ahead of themselves in that round. After Adam gets that opening pick, there's actually no need for them to get aggressive whatsoever through the rest of that round. I think Massacre was still there though, right? Like from the beginning.
Yeah.
He was still behind that smoke. So that's why they were compelled to try and assist him and see if they could frag. But in the end, works out against them 8-7. DNMK pick up the final round of that first half and they so desperately needed that.
They definitely did. Now they're going into the second half with a round advantage, but it's Goliath and it's them on the T side. And we pride speaking about these two teams on the T side and what they can get done. So we are going to see Goliath, they are in a round disadvantage, but they are going to also find themselves in a 5v5 push over towards the B bomb side. Early ramp control does go the way of Goliath. They are going to try boost up over towards Wood to try get a different avenue of assault towards this B bomb site. So it does look like it is going to be the B hit.
But look at DNMK, bro. They've got 3 players on the bomb site and 1 on scaffolding. So essentially they could have 4 players on this B bomb site at a moment's notice. They're playing full retake over towards A. But Goliath, they've got boosts going on here. No, not the boosters in matchmaking we all hate. This is a legitimate boost coming through right now. But Heartbreak with the legitimate headshot will take down Zip Zip. He's traded though. And off the back of that Goliath, they're going to be assuming control of this B bomb site. Dweezil still hangs around. He lands a nice one tap. And he's able to stay alive as well. Going to become tough now for Goliath to try and take this fight. As you can see, they're looking to force the issue. But can get very tough against these USPs. The one thing that Goliath do have going for them is that all 4 of these DNMK players are going to be coming from CT side, so they can focus all their attention to this part of the map right now. Fresh smoke will be making life tough, and the Glocks can start to rain in right now. Adam is going to have to replicate Dweezil's heroics in the first half with the pistol, with the Glock. Similar position, 1 versus 2 for him to try and close out this round. The bomb's not planted for him. They're going to be forcing it. They're looking for the frag, and the man will be able to come through and get the kill. ADM falls 1 frag short.
I was having flashbacks of the first half. Like, I was thinking, Adam, he's going to win out this 1v3. He's able to get 2. The man, he's going to clean it up. And that was as 50-50 as a round as we could have liked. It was back and forth, the ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Dynamic, they played that quite well. Yes, Dweezil fell in the bomb site, but they just played the retake. They got a couple of kills of the T's running into the bomb site. The man, he won it out against ADM, and 9-7's the score. But there's going to be a full investment. Oh, it's just going to be a hero AK, rather, from the side of Goliath. ADM, he's purchased up the AK of his own. So we are going to see what he can get done. He has had a slow start, but now's his time to start picking up the pace and showing up where it matters most.
Very passive from both of the teams right now. Hero AK on ADM to try and get some damage done in this round. It's just the lone investment into the round for Goliath. Kani lurking towards middle to see if he can get something done, as he so often does on the T side. And in the meanwhile, this methodical, slow approach has worked quite well for Goliath to get control of ramp.
What a tranquil round. Never mind.
Yeah, ruined the man. Why did you have to kill him? We were all enjoying how peaceful it was.
And that was the only rifle, so
yeah.
Adara, he's going to pick it up. I assume he drops it over to Massacre?
Yes.
He does so, okay. So Massacre's got the armor to back up that rifle. Still one-shot, headshot potential to come out with him not having head armor. Canny over towards middle. He's going to get decapitated by Nexus, but the A hit is going to come in. All players coming in through Skinny besides one. Over in the bomb side is the man. He's going to try buy time for the retakes. He's done exactly the rotates. He's done exactly that. Diver chiming in for 1. Massacre good with 1. And just damage mitigation from Dynamic. They're the first to post double digits.
Yeah. Massacre needed to get that kill way sooner, and it would have actually made that a doable round for Goliath in the end. But at least they secure a bomb plant, which is going to be subsidizing their economy and enabling to get a full buy in this round. Zip Zip gets the short end of the stick. He full saved in the previous round, and he's the one who ends up with the Mac 10. It'd be like that sometimes, right? So when you're the support player. So full buy round here for both of these teams, but it's not as full as it could possibly be. There's a couple SMGs on the table right now, 2 FAMASs on DNMK as well. So this is actually a good round for Goliath to get themselves going on this T side, considering the superior weapons that they have at their disposal right now. This is a good opportunity for them to get one on the board, Nick.
Definitely, and they've started this game relatively slow. They've been fighting from behind pretty much since the game started, so we're going to see what they can get done. As you said, with the full investment, Zip Zip, the only one being on the Mac 10. ADM, he's picked up his game a bit, and they're just going to take a ramp control. They're going to wait for the util to die down and walk up a ramp and gather all this information. That flash was completely intentional.
That was the play.
Yeah, definitely. Possible A split on the cards with the players lurking out towards middle, but these couple players over towards A, throwing a couple bits of util, they've brought in all the rotates. So now it's dive over towards middle where he's going to take contact. He's good for one, but the trade comes out from Kani.
Yeah, that was the plan, right? Because Zip Zip had the Mac 10, so he goes down. It's not the end of the world. The trade comes through, but Dweezil towards Skinny is able to actually find a frag, and off the back of that Goliath, they're activating. They don't know that the B bomb site's active. They actually want to try and pincer onto this A bomb site, and that could actually be what ends up costing them. ADM's going to be able to find one before he goes down, but that's going to be the end of the round. That's so unfortunate, Nick, because if Goliath had just chosen to go B, they would have gone into an open bomb site.
Dweezil's on 24 kills.
Dweezil, calm down there, brother bear.
Dweezil is on 24 kills.
Only 2 of his teammates are in double digits.
Like, he wants that back-to-back, you know, like 11-7.
Yeah.
He wants this game to get to 16 as fast as possible.
It's good to see because he's not normally the player that you look at on this DNMK team and say he's the man who's going to be doing all of the fragging damage.
The run
As
boost.
we see the run boost coming through, it's something that Goliath love to do. Adaro is always the player to get that run, to be run boosted. And he does at least find a kill, and I like this decision from Goliath as well. After they find that early pick, they don't just continue to barrel onto the B bomb site. They realize there's still so much time left on the clock. It's a 4 versus 4 setting, and they can use that time to try and get something else done. And look at how heavily DNMK are leaning towards this B bomb site right now. They are starting to find out that there's no further presence here from Goliath, but there is a window of opportunity here for Goliath to capitalize on. The man in the open right now towards middle, he could get overwhelmed very quickly if these pistols just start charging him down. But support has come through from Dweezil as they posture themselves now with that double man set up towards middle, and they're actually going to look to get aggressive here. So Kani's a dead man walking. He gets his head taken off by Dweezil. A bit of flair coming through here from DNMK, considering that this is an anti-eco round, guys. You don't need to be forcing the issue.
Yeah, but they forced the issue over towards middle. They got the info.
Yeah.
And now they've actually rotated play over towards A. They're playing mid a bit more passively. Nexus, he's tasked with holding down the speed bomb site. He hasn't had the great start of the game, but now he's going to have a chance to boost, get a couple ego boosters with the ecos. But the question is, he's going to be run down very quickly. He doesn't get any. Actually, he's massacred by Massacre in the bomb site. The man drops Zip Zip with a nade. Massacre's picked up the rifle and he's going to plant the bomb. He's actually going to fake it. He's good for one, but unable to get the spray transfer down. Dweezil's taking him out, and Dweezil, he's playing lights out Counter-Strike, 26 kills, and Massacre's on 21, so it's a real head-to-head battle between the two of them.
Just want to go back to something you said in that round, you know, the ego frags. I think you answered something there. We should be calling eco frags ego frags because it just boosts your confidence, right?
Easy peasy.
I like it, Nick. I'm on board, man. Full gun round here in the second half. Pretty much the first full gun round we've had where there's full AWPs, full utility, and Nexus is going to be forced backwards. He's got the AWP in his hands right now towards middle, and he's taken quite a bit of damage from the utility. Goliath, they've successfully secured control, and you can see off the back of that now they're just going to be posting Kani and then repositioning themselves elsewhere on the map. I really like this from Goliath because they flex towards mid, they show numbers, and then they just post one player after they've taken the control. Now that leaves DNMK in limbo. How do they reapproach this?
The man spotted ADM over towards a ramp, but it is just going to be the T's that are going to be creeping up this position. And while you're towards Skinny allows them to get more real estate over towards ramp, so they're just going to be grouping up. They've left Kani over towards middle to try to pester, keep some rotates awaiting. He's going to try to press the issue, and He's almost...
Canny.
He looks away.
Oh my
Griezmann
God, he
didn't
still
see him.
gets it though.
Canny. He's going to open up the round, which allows for this
man.
possible a pinch to come in. Now, Dynamic, they need to be wary of his position. They're actually going to press the issue through the smoke. The man's only good for one, and pushing the smoke. Diver, Massacre gets a beautiful double entry. He's going to be able to plant the bomb in the bomb site. And the nade over towards Nexus doesn't dunk him, but be there as it may, it's a 2v4 retake coming out. Canny's position is still over towards middle. Heartbreak's going to try to push the issue. Zip. A great readjustment. Now it's Nexus left in a 1v4, and Canny, he's going to put him in the grave.
First round that Goliath have won in this half, Nick.
And it was a good round at that. Well executed.
It was indeed. Very nicely worked there towards middle initially. And that's all because of the frags that they've been finding in the eco rounds from Goliath's perspective. Just when they've had pistols, they've consistently been able to find 2 or 3 kills, which has just kept DNMK's economy in check. So yes, it's a 12-8 scoreline right now, but certainly is a lot closer than how it looks, Nick. Goliath win this 12-9, go into the next gun round, and that's where things really start to get interesting, because Goliath can pull it all the way back, or that's where we could see DNMK surging ahead here on Vertigo and taking us to a Dust 2 potentially. Of course, this is the lower bracket final between Goliath Gaming and DNMK. The loser is eliminated from Comic-Con Online Africa, and the winner progresses through to the grand final, where they will face off against ATK tomorrow at 1:30, if I'm not mistaken, in a best of 5. No map advantage, Nick. It's all to play for both of the teams in the final.
No map advantage. What we all love to see. It's always that debate on, is a map advantage really needed? What you're going to do to subsidize that, coming with the upper bracket and the lower bracket. But what we've done is we've given the upper bracket winners extra monetary things.
Just a bit of extra cash, bro.
I lost my words there.
Just a cool 7,000 rand.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes
so
a bit of a
incentive.
difference.
That was the word I was looking
There
for.
we
The
go.
upper bracket, you have incentive to go through the upper bracket. You get an extra monetary boost. So it is a full 5-map affair in the final if we're treated as such. But at least 3 maps is what we all love to see, especially for the biggest comp of the year. 100,000 rand goes towards the winner, 210,000 rand in total. It is going to be a tactical timeout for Dynamic, and they want to be finding themselves in that grand final tomorrow. They've got a 3-round advantage, and they're going to be ecoing once more.
So it's actually the double eco. I thought that DNMK would be able to get the buy up coming into this next round. So this will be Goliath closing the gap down to just 2 rounds, Nick, which makes that next buy round all important. Then we're just getting a quick look at the numbers here as Goliath have a tactical timeout, giving Bunter a chance to just get a few words in there. As you said, though, there's a direct head-to-head battle going on right now between Dweezil and Massacre. They both have 26 frags, so they're doing the most right now on their respective teams. The man not too far behind with 17. Diver also got 14 kills, and on the side of Goliath Gaming, Adara had a great first half. He racked up most of his 19 kills over there towards the A-bomb site. However, Kani, ADM, and Zip not really doing as much as they would like at this point.
But definitely, those are bombs that can be exploded at any moment.
Yeah.
I mean, if Canny starts popping off, then if you're Dynamic, you got problems. But the same can be said about the names on the other side.
Sure, exactly.
We speak about Diver and him popping off. He's currently 14 and 18. He's not having the best time, but you never know what he can get done. A missed smoke by the aforementioned Diver. So the early A aggression is going to come out. They're just going to try to press the issue. But are they going to push the smoke? Diver takes Adaro's heads off. And Nexus, he's going to be rotating out because we love a good auto director, you know. Just the rotate is what matters. Massacre, he's going to take out the man. ADM has an inkling of this possible flank to come out, but there is still another player there. That is Heartbreak. He's going to finish out ADM with the 5-7. He's going to upgrade to the AK now and still try to press the issue. Zip. He's going to dodge the flash and take him out. This was a partial investment from Dynamic, so it is just going to be as clean as possible for Goliath. But Diver's going to get another. Massacre's going to clean him up. And 2 players stay alive for the side of Goliath. 10
not bad for DNMK.
is on the score for Goliath. Double digits has been met.
Yeah.
But now it is the buy round, and now it is the juice. And Nexus, he's not having a great time. 4 times 4 is 16, though. He's practicing everyone's maths, you know?
Yeah, still time for him yet to find his footing here on Vertigo. The captain and IGL of DNMK desperately needs to get into the server here and find his footing, because this game is getting ever so close right now as we head into this all-important gun round. 10-12. If Goliath win this, they set themselves on course to level things up at 12-12, and it feels like if they can do that, they should be closing out the game from that point, considering that they were behind the game at 12-7 at one point, Nick.
Definitely. And especially if you can get... Oh, he spotted on his head.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, so Heartbreak,
That's a big problem.
And Goliath, they do it again. Even though they know with these setups, as soon as they get one kill in the one extremity, they're just going to hold for re-aggression in the other extremity, and they find themselves in a two-man advantage. Great counter-strike coming out from Goliath, and now this is their buy round to lose, with no doubt in my mind. But great counter-strike coming out from Goliath. And as I was about to say before we saw that occurrence come out, as soon as Goliath get the wheels rolling, if you're dynamic, you're scared, right? If you're Goliath, you're posting 4, 5, 6 rounds in a row, then it's a real uphill battle. Nexus, he's going to try show up. He's opted for the AWP. Dweezil's boosted over towards middle. The question is, can he be able to sniff him out? Nexus, he's trained on the angle, and if it's a lackadaisical TP, Nexus will be able to post his 5th.
Yeah, ADM tasked with just trying to show a bit of presence towards the safe bomb. So he's going to be forcing Divo forward, but in the meanwhile, Kani's been able to get that kill over towards Dweezil in middle, so that certainly does open things up, and off the back of that, Goliath are just going to waltz their way into this B-bomb site. So there's still 2 AWPs on the table here for DNMK. I don't know if they realize that they've actually got the double AWP still in play, because I haven't really seen them double AWP set up too much on the CT side of this map. Maybe they do bring it to the table, I just haven't noticed it. Are they hanging around here to retake, Nick?
Ooh.
I mean, it's a 2 versus 3 and you only have AWPs, no utility. Well, they do have 1 flashbang, but I'm questioning this. I don't know why they're not just looking to save these AWPs. There's no buy for them in the next round, and now they do make the call.
They hear you.
So let's talk a little bit about how Goliath approached that round and why, as you touched on, it was such a good job by them to have that discipline. After they find that opening frag, there's still so much time left on the clock that they know they don't need to force the issue and try and get into the B-bomb side, because you might just find another player there that catches you off guard. So they go for the nice passive option. They just continue to try and work around the map. They know that because the CT side have lost a player so early on, they need to try and make some sort of a play elsewhere. It's always that push and pull, that give and take that's going on. So they wait for that push to come through somewhere else on the map as they just post their angles and they punish that second player as well. And from there, with that 2-man advantage, that's when they can look to drive the round home.
Definitely. But now, talking about driving around home, Goliath, they need to drive this one. It is going to be a full investment from the side of Dynamics. So this will have knock-on effects. You're not going to only be conceding the round advantage that you find yourself in, but you're going to be fighting for your life, possibly in the tournament if you lose this one. The mental aspect that this round itself holds.
There's 2 MP9s, but neither Dweezil nor Divo dropped that, which means those players can't get much utility, and Zipzip's just going to open things up. He nearly finds the second one into Heartbreak as well. Heartbreak going to be trading out from the MP9, picks up his favored weapon, the AWP, and makes things doable here for DNMK in the 4 versus 4. Where did Goliath end up is the question. They certainly have more util at their disposal than what DNMK have got, that's for sure.
Yeah, Nexus, he's going to deep smoke towards ramp again, which allows for this re-aggression over towards A ramp, but the T's, they're already ahead of it. Yes, ADM's blind, but there's no reason for them to stay beyond the smoke because they've got all this info. So
yeah,
Adara's going to flash for the player playing over towards sandbags or close towards the scaffolding. Modeling out sandbags is the normal routine.
Speaking about info though, Nick, look at the man's position. He's gone down the ladder and he's got a quick flank coming through here, and I'm not sure if Goliath are going to be ready for this. It seems like they're fully committed towards this A hit right now as they start to make their way forward. Nexus has got the AWP sitting on top of the boost, waiting as his teammate Divo gets taken down. He can't have an impact further. And this is where the lurker needs to activate. This is where the man needs to start having an impact. But as the bomb gets planted, this is when Goliath are going to be starting to cover their aces, Nick. And they do find the man's position. But Heartbreak actually able to take the player down that the man was contesting. And the man finds a kill in the mix as well. It's a 2v2. And 3 of the 4 players left alive have got AWPs. Heartbreak lands another shot, but he doesn't expect Kani to be so close with the AK. He does the damage. He gets the 2-piece, the 1 versus 2 to secure the 12 for his team. Heartbreaking, backbreaking round there, won by Goliath.
He was just hiding in the smoke, being a little pissed, and then he was able to get the spray transfer, win out the 1v2 in Dynamic. They lose the all-important buy round, which is not only going to concede the round advantage that they find themselves in, but possibly they're going to go down around to the side of Goliath. But the question is, do they choose to reinvest? You know, there was only 1 player alive, but the fact is that Goliath, they've strung so many rounds together, the economy's looking good for them. Massacre, he's on 29 kills. He's overtaken Dweezil. Dweezil had a lightning start. I think at the stage he was 9-0, 10-1. Massacre, he's taken the mantle for the side of Goliath. He's 29-15. Adaro, he's 20-18. And like Goliath, they're just looking good. Nexus, unfortunately, he's still unable to show up to the party, but he really needs to start showing up in the latter stages of this map if Dynamic don't want to fall 2-0 once again to Goliath Gaming.
Nick, they are going to actually have a full buy here, our DNMK. They just muster up the bit of cash that they have. They're subsidized by that round loss bonus. The problem is that they don't really have any utility. Again, this has been the past couple of rounds that there hasn't been much util at DNMK's disposal on their defense, and it has been costing them as well because the gunfights have just been going Goliath Gaming's way, and DNMK haven't had that luxury of the extra util to aid their cause. Heartbreak goes on a bit of an exploratory mission, and he finds something. He finds a bullet in his brain, Nick.
That ramp smoke that Dweezil threw out, like, it was so misplaced.
Questionable.
Is he going to spot the barrel?
Yeah, he spotted him now,
Did he?
right? No, he didn't.
What?
It actually doesn't look like
He's
he
so
did,
close.
man. Did not look like he spotted him. Dweezil still in a position here to try and foil this execute from Goliath Gaming. Are they going to be pre-firing? Are they going to be looking to do anything to root him out of this position? Dweezil, he gets out alive. That's such a big frag there from him. And this could be putting the brakes on things as well, Nick. I'm not sure if Goliath are going to continue to force the issue here towards B after they lost that player. They may be thinking twice about it. The one thing they do have going for them is that Kani's already pushed up middle and he's posted on the angle. So he has some form of control right now to work off of.
This round could literally go either team's way, and it's a round that holds more weight for Dynamic than it does for Goliath, but just the mental fact that this round holds. Massacre, the flash is not going to be doing him blind. Diver gets one into ADM, and Massacre's posted his 31st. He's absolutely light out in this performance. He's going to smoke towards the right side of Jenny. The flash has come in, and he's going to be tossed with the entry once again. Canny is going to be coming in late to pick up the bomb, but the arm of the player backside Jenny, that is Dweezil, was spotted out by Massacre, so Massacre, he's going to try to get something done. The smoke has been dropped, but through the smoke, Dweezil's going to try to get something done. Push the issue, he's good for one, and almost on the spray transfer, catches two, and now it's just zips up left in a 1v3, and he has no bullets and he has no HP, and Dweezil, he's showing up, he's a big game player.
What a push there from Dweezil, just taking the responsibility on his own shoulders, taking the onus to get the job done. And he just pushes forward, recognizing the opportunity that had presented itself when Goliath had committed to the plant. And he just surges onto the site, and he finds 3 kills on that bomb site. And that's his 30 bomb now secured, Nick.
The dirty 30 times 2.
Yeah.
Massacre and Dweezil. Both of them lights out, like almost.
Finally, DNMK win a round though,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
That was 5 consecutive round wins for Goliath.
Like, Dynamic, they're fighting an uphill battle, and they're making it as competitive as possible. This round holds just as much weight as the previous. If you lose this, you're looking at eco territory. Goliath, you're going to be matching up the scoreline with the side of Dynamic, so it is going to be interesting how this one pans out, but the two players really firing at all cylinders on the server are Dweezil and Massacre. And as we spoke to Dweezil before, actually, he spoke that anyone can pop at any time, and he's the one that's taking the mantle in this map.
Yeah, exactly.
But it needs a supporting cast, like, surely.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
such an important round here for both of these teams. Goliath still have enough money to muster up a buy in the next if they lose this. The same can't be said for DNMK, however. But DNMK are 1 round ahead here on Vertigo, the second map of the series. Goliath Gaming won the first map 16-12. It was Inferno. If they can win this map, they're going to book themselves a rematch against ATK in the grand final tomorrow. If they lose this map, we're going to Dust 2 to determine exactly who will be in that final against ATK. Goliath Gaming working their way towards the save bomb site. Seems like Dynamic have committed to the skinny hold. They've got 2 players there. Nexus does catch Canny off, and it just frags aplenty. All of them going the way of DNMK. Finally, Zip's able to get a trade in his team's favor, but with only 30 seconds left here, I don't know how Goliath get this one across the line. Adara on the bomb side all by himself will go down as well. It's 14-12, Nick. DNMK, they've got this last breath coming into this game, and they're showing that they still have fight left in them yet.
they definitely do. 14-12 is the score, and Goliath, I was talking about the uphill battle that Dynamic were facing, and they putting this one step in front of the other. Now Goliath, they find themselves on the receiving end of a 2-round deficit, and they're going to call a timeout just to talk things over. Massacre really carrying the mantle along with the Daro. No other players are really stepping up to the plate. All of them in the negative. The same can be said about Dynamic. It's just Dweezil and actually the man that are positives. The rest of them are also in the red. So but there's 2 players on either side really firing at all cylinders, but if they have a supporting cast, now's the time that they need to show up. If you're Goliath, you need to start having ADM to start popping off. He's 14, 8, and 20. He's one player that is a big game player and really could tilt this game into Goliath's favor, but Dynamic, they're able to weather the storm that is Goliath, that is Massacre and Adaro. But this round is going to be extremely important for Goliath. If they lose this, they're more than likely going to lose the map, and we're probably going to be seeing Dust 2.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Nick. There won't be any money left in the bank for Goliath if they lose this to contest that map point of DNMK. And it seems like they're looking to get potentially aggressive early on here already. A couple players towards the B ramp or the B bottom side stairs, grouping themselves up. Maybe going to be trying to catch DNMK off guard here and see if they can burst out nice and early. But DNMK, they've gotten themselves into a position again, Nick, where they should be winning this game. This map is theirs for the taking right now, and if they drop the ball from here, it would be devastating to say the least. Goliath Gaming again going for the boost up as they've got two players behind the plywood here. And the plan here is for them to just burst onto this B bomb site and catch DNMK off guard completely. The flash comes through, blinds up Dweezil, but he's actually able to get out alive. That smoke from Massacre tries to extinguish the flames, but the flames have already been extinguished, so it goes amiss. And off the back of that, DNMK, they want to try and get aggressive. They want to try and fight Goliath before they can get onto the bomb site. And in the end, they end up costing themselves dearly. The man, in the meanwhile, was ready for Kani, the lurker, to try and make some sort of a play on the opposite side of the map. Now that he's dealt with him, he can focus his attention towards B, which is where the bomb has been planted. Nexus, the first responder, is going to be spotting Adara out, and a lightning fast shot from him will be securing the first frag, and another one comes through from Divo. DNMK are doing it, Nick. They've won that all-important 27th round. They've broken Goliath Gaming's economy, and they're now just one round away from taking us to a third and final map.
They're one round away for stopping the curse that is Goliath, the 2-0 sweeps that they've been on the receiving end of. DNMK, they're one round away from posting their map pick Vertigo, and we're going to be on our way to Dust 2. 15-12. The buy for Goliath is not looking great. 2 Mac 10s and 3 Galols on the side of them. And a full buy for DNMK. All the bells and whistles that they could wish for. ADM, he's going to flash towards the B bomb site. Just a stock standard B rush going to be coming out from them. This nade from Heartbreak could be doing some decent damage over towards the player pressing the issue. He's just going to be trying to stay alive and gather time for his teammate. Rotate, he catches 3 on the spray. And now it's a 2v4, Adaro and ADM tasked with bringing this back to try bring this back in towards OT for the side of Goliath Gaming. Another smoke is dropped over towards the left side of Jenny. The bomb plant is not going to be awarded to the side of Goliath. The molly is going to stop that to be the case. The bomb is going to be planted now. Now it's a 2v4 retake for the side of DNMK, and it looks like we're going to be going over towards Dust 2.
Yeah, it certainly would be a surprise if that wasn't going to be the case. Adaro tries to force the issue and he ends up going down to Divo. It's just ADM left in the 1v4 and he can't get anything done either. Nick, we are going to a third and final map here in the lower bracket final. DNMK have shown that they deserve to continue to fight in this game. They've earned an opportunity here to get into the grand final as well as they pick up the map, win 16-12 and keep themselves alive.
Definitely. We were speaking about the maps to come into this game, and DNMK, they've had the most success in Vertigo, and now this is the first time we've seen in a long time them actually winning it out. So now it's actually going to be a 1-all, and we're going to be looking at an exciting Dust 2 decider, because we got the Inferno that finished off 16-12. This one finished off 16-12. One going the way of Goliath, one going the way of DNMK, and we've been looking to look at a Dust 2 finale.
And it's not even a map that you would say, oh, it's okay for Goliath Gaming. They lost the previous map. They're going into a super comfortable pick now. No, it's Dust 2, a map that we haven't really seen much of either of these teams in the past couple of weeks. So it could be anybody's game going into Dust 2. It's a deciding map in an elimination match. So normally you would say the team who won the second map would have a bit of extra momentum going into the decider. That means that DNMK could definitely be having a crack at this. All of a sudden, they've breathed life into this lower bracket final and shown that they certainly have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with Goliath. We saw the potential on Inferno, but they brought their full game on Vertigo. Lights out performance from Dweezil. Great effort from Massacre on the side of Goliath Gaming as well, but it just wasn't enough. We're heading to the decider, guys. We're going to be having a short ad break here before we bring that third and final map, but make sure you don't go anywhere because it is actually going to be an absolutely blistering third map to behold.
My gaming name is Josh, and the game I qualified in was Castle Defense.
I only have one chance, but then I've been trying to play the other games just for fun.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Telkom VS Gaming Masters. We are here in the lower bracket final between Goliath Gaming and DNMK, and we just witnessed a phenomenal performance from DNMK. They managed to win the second map and keep themselves alive here in the series. They picked up Vertigo 16-12, replicating the scoreline of the map they lost before that, Nick.
Yeah, I think it's nuts, the fact that Dynamic were actually able to win out a map and not only take it to a third, but actually coming into the third map being favourites. Often in BO3s, the team who wins out the second, if they do even it up, they have all the momentum going into the third. But Goliath, they're definitely not going to be getting ahead of themselves. They relatively sound on a map like Dust 2 themselves. Dynamic, I can't think of many encounters which I've seen them win out Dust 2 encounters. If we think all the way back against Sinister 5, that game went OT on Dust 2, but that's like literally like a couple months back at this stage. So I think that's not really much to go for both sides in terms of Dust 2. So literally Dust 2, the third map, the decider. We all love to see a Dust 2 decider, and it could literally go either way.
So let's just talk about quickly how we got to this point, because we started out on Inferno, which feels like a bit of a lifetime ago, just because of how closely contested the series has been and how we've just been vested in every single round that's transpired. We began on Inferno, which was Goliath Gaming's map pick. It was back and forth in the first half, but Goliath were able to set the tone as they started finding their footing on their CT side. They closed that out 16-12. We then went to Vertigo, which was of course then inadvertently DNMK's map pick, and they also got off to a really good start in the beginning of that map. They put some good distance between themselves and Goliath, and then Goliath started to come back into the fray as well. They were trading rounds back and forth. All in the meanwhile, Dweezil was going crazy. Massacre was going crazy. They pushed it all the way to the limits. We ended up at 12-12 at one point, and finally DNMK were able to find the gear and actually pull ahead and close out the map. It's the first time they've beaten Goliath Gaming on a map in an official, if I'm not mistaken, but they're not going to be content with that just yet. They want to take this the whole way. They want to go all the way to the grand final and beat Goliath Gaming here 2-1.
Both these teams will take nothing less besides saying, oh yeah, if you're Dynamic, guys, we got a map against Goliath. No, you want to win out this 2-1. You want to be into the grand final tomorrow against ATK, which is definitely going to be exciting. But you spoke about Dweezil and you spoke about Massacre, two players having an absolutely lights out performance on Vertigo, but the same has to be carried out on Dust 2. Like you can't not have all your team doing their job. Nexus, I don't even think he was able to approach double digits in that map. I think he finished with about 7 or maybe 8 kills, but on a map like Dust 2, you're going to be abused if you're not having a good game. The rotate's going to be found out if you're on the CT side, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Goliath, they choose to find the holes and go onto them, and then we're going to see what Dynamic can get done in that regard. Nexus not having a lights out performance, but we're going to see if Dweezil can carry the mantle once more.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if that's going to be the case. It was a solid performance, as you said, from majority of the players in DNMK, but they're all going to have to be pitching up as we go across to Dust 2. As we've said a number of times now, we haven't really seen either of these teams playing too much of Dust 2. I saw Goliath Gaming pick Dust 2 against ATK last weekend in the finals of the Soldiers of Fortune event, and they got absolutely destroyed. It was like a 16-6 victory to ATK or something along those lines, so it was not convincing at all. However, all of these players have been playing Counter-Strike for a number of years. They're familiar with Dust 2. They know what it takes to win on that map. It hasn't changed over the years, but coming into this decider, it certainly sets up the scene quite nicely.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot more weight than your normal Dust 2 MM game or your Faceit game or your ESEA Pug. It's definitely something that holds a lot of weight in both these teams. I did recently see Goliath win out 16-1 against Royalty in the lower bracket, in the elimination stage rather of the upper bracket of the VS Telkom Gaming Master Season 5, so that's a bit, I tripped over words.
That's
a bit
okay,
there,
we got you there.
Yeah, so that was a 16-1 victory for the side of Goliath, so they definitely show that they're very sound on this sort of map. Dynamic, we haven't really seen much of them recently, so I mean, we don't really have much to go off of going into this. It's very 50-50 encounter, as we see Dynamic having a really good performance on Vertigo, but it's Dust 2, it's the map we know and love. Name a more iconic map in CS history, right? Goes all the way back, so it's definitely going to be a Dust 2 that holds a lot of weight in both these teams' maps.
It certainly is, Nick. DNMK giving us exactly what we wanted here in the lower bracket final. A match to feast our eyes on, going the absolute distance right now to see who will be earning that spot in the grand final against ATK tomorrow. We're just going to be taking a very momentary break here as we regather ourselves and we prepare for this third and final map, guys. Make sure that you don't go anywhere. It is going to be a humdinger. Hello everybody and welcome back to the lower bracket final between DNMK and Goliath Gaming. We have gone the distance. We are about to consume the third and final map. We're heading to Dust 2, Nick. DNMK, they're going to have full belief that they have what it takes to win this match now. Everyone in the TeamSpeak is going to be saying, guys, we can do this, and they will genuinely believe that.
Definitely. This is the first time DNMK have felt this way in a long time against Goliath. The previous encounters have just been 2-0 sweeps of Goliath, and now it's different.
Yeah.
It's a big stage. DNMK, they've showed up, they've posted their map Vertigo, and now it's Dust 2, and it's the map we all know and love.
Yeah.
And it's definitely going to be an exciting third map to feast our eyes upon.
It certainly is, Nick, and as you said, it's the map we all know and love. There's no secrets on Dust 2. Probably the most basic T approach of all the maps. It's really simplistic, and you can really just move around as a group of four players, just taking control, just traversing the entirety of the map, overwhelming the CTs. Quite a tough map as the CTs as well, because you're very thinly spread across the defense, and you can very easily be isolated. So it's going to be a very tough map here for both of these teams. Nick, I'm going to throw you under the bus. Give me your prediction, man. Who's winning this?
Goliath. I mean, I know we saw DNMK win out Vertigo, and that was I definitely didn't see that being the case. But I've seen Goliath, what they can do on the side of Dust 2.
Yeah.
And yes, DNMK, they're feeling good, they're looking good coming
Yeah.
into Dust 2. But I still think Goliath went into this matchup as favourites. I think they're still going to go into the third map as favourites, and I still think they're going to win out the series 2-1.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think that Goliath Gaming do have that BMT to not get over frustrated or read into the match too much right now. They know what just happened is not exactly what they would have liked or hoped for, but they're still alive in the series, right? And they're certainly still going to be having full faith that they have what it takes to get across the line. And I think that Goliath will still be walking away with this with the win. I will say one thing though. Shout out to Mooncow, our head admin, because he walked in this morning and he said DNMK are going to win the second map. Straight off the bat, he said it. We're like, no, man, it's probably going to be a 2-0, you know. But it's okay because we know you don't follow the scene too closely, so we'll let you off. It's like, damn, maybe we should make a seat for him here on the analyst desk, because he's been making some reads this weekend.
Even yesterday, we were like, no, so it's the 5. Maybe they would make it 2-1, make it competitive. He said, nah, DNMK 2-0. So now, clearly he knows more than us,
Onto
right?
something, right?
I'll give him the microphone. He can take my seat. He's ready to see what happens. But I mean, Goliath, I think they're definitely favourites to clear out this Dust 2 matchup. But you never know. It's a map like Dust 2. Can really go either way. Who loves a good Dust 2 decider? It's Goliath, it's DNMK. Whoever wins this books their spot against ATK, where they'll be playing for 100,000 Rand, winner takes all. It's Goliath, it's DNMK, and it is definitely a David versus Goliath matchup.
That certainly is, Nick. You couldn't have painted it any better. These teams have been battling it out for 7 months, and either one of these teams' roads are going to come to the end after this map. Nick Massacre taking the responsibility in his own shoulders. He's picking off where he left off on Vertigo, and he immediately starts with 2 kills, and Zip's going to be chiming in with a couple of his own as well. He finds one before he goes down at least, but Heartbreak left in a pretty much unwinnable 1 versus 4. Nick, this round right here, that's a statement from Goliath Gaming saying, yes, you just managed to beat us on Vertigo, but that does not change a thing.
Without a doubt, Massacre, he's just taking all the confidence in the world, had a lights out last map. I expect nothing short from him now. He's warmed up. I rate him as probably one of the best riflers in South Africa at the moment. You can mention him in the same sentence as your Fadies, as your Blazers. I think he's definitely up in that conversation. He's definitely one to keep an eye out for, and the AWP battle we're going to see out in this map is also going to be something interesting. Is the double AWP going to come out, or is it just going to be a single AWP and ADM taking those gunfights towards long, towards short, over towards middle? So it is definitely going to be something exciting to see, and that long aggression that we're going to see both sides fight about throughout the whole half. Can he?
Nice.
He's just going to post 2 in the round. He's dinked down. He still wants to take the gunfight, but Massacre, he says, Kenny, I got your back, bro, and I got an extra $600 in the bank.
Yeah. That's exactly it, Nick. Goliath Gaming going to be able to put that first map behind them after the solid start to Dust 2. Yes, I know it's just a pistol round and it's just an anti-eco round that they won, but those have surmountable additions to the confidence and certainly do make teams feel a lot better about themselves coming off the back of a map loss, right? So we head into the first full gun round now. I say full gun round, it's not really a full gun round for Goliath Gaming, more of a bonus round of sorts, and they want to try and take the fight towards long, where Divo found himself by himself, and he gets traded out 1 for 1. Good start for Goliath, considering the weaponry that they have to work with.
Yeah, he was just left high and dry over towards long, and that's an AK that's going to be able to be retrieved from Massacre. Smoke is just going to be dropped in the doors to ensure that cross to be as safe as possible. But the man, he's pestering over towards mid lane. He could catch ADM. He does so, and that opens up the avenue for this mid to be split. And the only person on the B bomb side is Canny, and all he's got is a scout, and all he's got is a one-way ticket to 6 feet under. Zip and Massacre left in a 2v4. Those were the players over towards long, and if you're Goliath, you're saving. And if you're Dynamic, you've posted your first round on the board.
Really important gun run for DNMK to win as well, because they had such superior weaponry to work with. If they lost to FAMAS, Scouts and MP9s, that sets a very poor tone heading into the rest of this map. So, great win by them. It's convincing as well. They're going to keep all 4 players alive, assume none of them drop to these saving CT players. And it's all round a nice way for them to start their T side. So, Goliath Gaming, I think they're going to have enough money to buy up heading into the next round. They're going to get $1,900 on each of their players. And you can see the likes of Zip and Massacre not too far from that 3k mark. So they'll be able to drop a weapon, assuming Zip doesn't go down here. And he absolutely does. He gets snapped up by Dweezil, leaving Massacre in a pretty tough position. They're rounding on him as well. He's looking to fight his way out of this corner right now. Desperately wants to try and take this AK into the next round, and it looks like he'll be able to do just that. So, I think Goliath are going to be looking to buy around that weapon, Nick. I don't know. They could go for the save. No, they're going to go for the full
they're
invest.
buying.
It's the Goliath we know and love.
Yeah, exactly. It is the Goliath we know and love. And it is going to be a full investment from their camp. The same can be said about Dynamic. They've got all the bells and whistles they could want. Full belt of utility on all their players. The same can't be said about Goliath, rather. However, but it is going to be the long that is going to be taken by Goliath. But Adara, he's just doubly keen towards top tunnels. He takes out Dweezil. Diver comes in with the trade. Got to respect the play, you know. It's a very one and done play. But,
I mean, did he substitute his milk for Red Bull in his cereal this morning? Or what's going on?
What happened? That was his first kill as well, you know.
Okay.
He said to his team, you know,
like,
guys,
I'm fragging.
I've got the spawn. I'm rushing B.
Yeah.
And ADM said, sorry, what? And Tyler said, bro, don't worry, I've got you covered. So it is a 4v4 mid-round. A mid-to-B smoke has been thrown out from Dynamic, but it is going to be a 4v4 in the mid-round. Over towards Goose is Canny. If his position goes overlooked, he could be good for a couple frags. And Masker, he's got all the info that no one's out for this mid-to-B split. So there are still 2 players over towards the A bomb site. And this A hit is going to be coming in all through the short position.
Yeah, all 4 players grouped up here for DNMK right now, and they're going to be charging forward off the back of the util, raining in, leaving no stone unchecked right now as they take full control. Kani left high and dry. He gets taken down as well. That's DNMK assuming control of this bomb site, Nick. And the A bomb site can be challenging to retake if you don't really have many pieces to work off of. And Massacre looking to try and give his team the tools that they need to get towards the site, but he's still in a very tough position right now as well. Diver knew exactly where he was. Massacre had no idea where Diver was going to be popping up, and that ends up leading to his demise. Zip and ADM, they're going to be receiving the same treatment as well. DNMK winning that all-important gun round, going up or leveling up the score lines at 2-2.
2-2 is the score, and now if you're Goliath, you're saving into this next one. Dynamic, they're looking pretty good. They've cleaned up the first buy round with good success. So they've posted 2 without response to Goliaths, but it is just going to be Nico. Not really much to actually. They've actually invested quite a bit into this, which does suggest it's going to be another eco next round. So I assume we're going to see double AWPs coming out.
Yeah, which is exactly what you want, right?
Yeah, that is going to be the case. You have the AWPer working over towards A side, over towards long and short, and maybe an AWPer posted up a B or something like that. But this double up a B aggression could catch Dweezil looking the wrong way. Why is he looking to T-spawn? But he looks back at the perfect time. He's good for the spray transfer.
Did you just question the back-to-back Comic-Con winner, Nick?
Yeah, maybe back-to-back-to-back. Eh? You never
could
know
be.
what happens, you know?
We'll have to find out how this game goes, if he's going to have a chance at making it the three-peat. Something we didn't really talk about too much before this map started, we just touched on it now, is this double AWP setup for Goliath Gaming. Their double AWP setup is so damn potent. The likes of Kani and ADM wielding those weapons can do so much damage to any lineup in South African CS. In fact, I would go so far as to say that they have the best double AWP setup in South Africa right now. And we know that the CT side of Dust, well, that's where the double AWPs can prevail the most.
That's definitely a scary one, right? I mean, Canny he could be a primary AWPer for anyone to see.
Yeah.
The fact is that you have a second AWPer or a secondary AWPer who's more than sound with the AWP in his hands, and he can definitely get something done. So I agree with you. Definitely a very scary proposition to come out. So we should see it come out the round after next. Not really much to write home about. All 5 Dynamic players stay alive. Nexus, he's already he's already getting close to what he posted last map, so things are looking good for him. So it is 3-2. Dynamic, they've taken the round advantage, and there's going to be another eco coming out from Goliath. As we just said, they are going to be looking to post up that double AWP setup, so it should be 4-2 to the side of Dynamic if all things go Dynamic's way. But Goliath, they're going to try to do as much damage as possible. They're going to boost 3-4 players up towards short. So they're going to stack over towards short and see if they can catch a wandering Nexus with these pants down.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, DNMK, they're not entertaining this, especially after the information that Nexus is going to be feeding through to his teammates. Aman's trying to find a kill. He's just screeching that they're all middle and that they need to push B right now. And they do get into the bomb site unscathed. So at least that's a trade you would take, right? As the T's trade one person's life to get the full information as to where all the CT players are. Take that any day of the week.
So it does look like Masker is sticking around with the AK to try get some exit frags, and these other CTs, they're also going to be trying to lock the T's in the bomb sites with as great of an effect as possible. The round is not going to be won from Goliath, but a round win in itself would be just doing as much economical damage for Goliath. Yes, you won't be posting your third, but if you take down another couple frags from the side of Dynamic, you'll be leaving this with your head held high. But Dynamic, they're going to clean this up, and they're actually going to drop the AK of Masker as well.
Wow.
So no saved rifle at all from the side of Goliath.
Nick, that's 4 consecutive round ones that have now been 4 consecutive round wins for DNMK. So they're going to be feeling pretty good right now. They've got that confidence and momentum behind them, but double AWP setup is in play.
You know that but.
And this is
anything before the but doesn't mean anything.
yeah,
as the
because
old saying goes.
Yeah, that's very true, right? But the double AWP setup that's being brought into the equation right now, Nick. And this is going to be one of the biggest tests for DNMK. Do they have the tools and devices to deal with this double AWP? And Nick, they're posturing towards the B bomb side right now. 4 players in upper dark. Adaro, he's getting caught between his teammate. Finally, though, he is able to get 2 quick kills. Nkani also picks up one with the AWP elsewhere on the map. So that leaves a one-man advantage for Goliath Gaming as the dust starts to settle.
You've got 3 flashbangs and as well as a smoke and a molly on the retake, so I assume Masker, he's going to molly off towards either car or backside. The smoke towards upper tunnels could come in, but that would also give out the fact that no one's retaking from the upper B position, so the man, he could actually get caught off crossing.
Shot Kani.
He does so. Kani gets a good shot. Heartbreak now left, full belt of utility, 28 HP and an AWP in hand in a 1v3. He's mollied out, he's given out his position, a smoke has been dropped. Not really much to write home about in this round. The molly doesn't even spread towards the bomb. Heartbreak, he's stuck behind the smoke. He's actually found his way on the top, and he's actually got the diffuser. There's no kit.
No ways!
Oh, there's
they found the kit.
Where was the kit?
I don't know where the kit was, but they picked it up just in time.
That is
Oh
nuts.
my god, Nick, if they lost the round because of that, I might have had to leave the building. I might have had to leave the building if they dropped the round there. Like, that would have just been absolute sacrilege. In the end, Goliath Gaming, they win the round and they keep 2 players alive, which is really important because it means that they can take both of their AWPs into the next round as well. Wow, that got close. DNMK doing a lot of damage, though, in that round. Even though they lost it, Nick, they got the bomb plant, they got 3 frags, and look at how much money they still have in the bank.
Yeah, exactly.
They're ballers right now. And it seems like they're going to continue to force the issue at B here, rushing in towards the bomb site once again. Adaro, he's only going to be good for the 1 frag before he goes down. ADM, the first responder, missing his shots as well. The nade's going to come through, does a decent amount of damage, but the 4v4 with the bomb site in control of DNMK, this is going to be a tough retake to make, especially considering that there is a backstab coming through from Dweezil. He's in the bomb site right now, the A bomb site that is, coming from behind. He's going to be catching them, trying to save potentially, or set up for Util. Either way, he gets a kill before he goes down, just to thin out those numbers of the CT side. Massacre also only has 21 health to his name right now, so he's not looking too pretty, and a fresh molly might be enough to force Goliath to save their weapons. They've got 2 AWPs and an M4, Nick. How do they even consider getting into the bomb site right now? Kani's going to be leading the charge with his rifle. Massacre has his bloody USP out right now. He's going to go down as well, and ADM, the only player left, and he has no choice but to try and save, but I don't even think that's going to be an option for him, Nick.
Dynamic. They post the 5th, and all they're doing is they're abusing that B bomb site. It's notoriously hard to retake, even with the recent change of the B doors. It is still notoriously hard to retake. Even you see teams in 4v4s, you still see the CTs saving. That was a man advantage for the side of, that was actually a 4v4 retake rather for Dynamic. Dweezil dropped down, made it a 3v3, and Goliath, they were unable to win out the retake. So things are looking good for Dynamic. They've posted 5 to Goliath's 3. It's going to be Nico for Goliath once again. And that double AWP setup on the retake is not looking too great. We even saw Massacre running with the USB in hand.
Yeah.
And he tried to get something done. But it is 5-3 the score. We're going to see what Massacre can get done. That's the bomb on the back of the man, but he doesn't actually get any damage. Oh, this is
Nexus crapped himself there as he came around the corner with the flash in his hand, and he just saw the CT. He's like, I need to get out of dodge right now. And he does get out in time. Nick, this game is postured so nicely right now for a third mapper. DNMK, the underdogs, are ahead right now, and they've shown that they have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with Goliath on this map. They're about to go up 6-3, Nick, and their T side is looking profound right now. Like, geez,
that's when you know everything's
that's
going right.
dirty. I mean, DNMK, they're making this look very doable right now, Nick. Everybody's been saying Goliath Gaming, yeah, even if they get pushed, they're still going to get across the line eventually. DNMK might just be bringing in the question of, are they actually going to be in the final against ATK right now and eliminate Goliath Gaming? And what a story that would be, considering Goliath were the team to knock them down out of the upper bracket in the second stage. They could come full circle and end up giving them that revenge match. My God, 6-3 heading into this next gun round. We're going to have to wait and see what we have in store.
I wish I could just fast forward and not go through the anxiety of watching this game. I just fast forward and see the final score and see who's in the final and see who wins the whole thing. But, you know, fortunately, we actually get to see what happens. We get to go through all the emotions, the ebbs and flows of the game we know and love.
Yeah.
But it is going to be this long take that is going to seem to come. They're sending one player along.
Oh my God.
Like,
ADM gets taken down. Great flashbang there, rendered him practically useless, and now Massacre has a job to do towards short. He also has no support though, and this is what I was talking about. The CT side of Dust can be so tough because your defense is spread so thin. You can get isolated. It's exactly what happened there to both of the CTs who have been taking down. Zip in no man's land right now, just trying to hold down mouse button one, see if he can control the spray, but it's like a fireman's hose pipe. It's just got so much power and it does what it wants.
It does, yeah, exactly. And what we're seeing from Dynamic is they're just going for the straight out fast plays. Fast plays out towards long, towards B, and up short, and it's working perfectly for them. They posted 7-3 to Goliath.
Against
Dynamic,
two double
rather.
AWPs as well, by the way.
Exactly.
So it's not even like you can be like, yeah, Goliath haven't had... No, they've had everything they've
had
needed.
everything, yeah.
But Nick, that's such a good point you make. It's been a very, very tight-knit T-side from DNMK right now. And remember, I said that at the top of the panel. I said the T-side of Dust is literally one of those T-sides you can just run around as a group of 4 and just take the fights around the map, overwhelming those individual players. And that's exactly the approach that DNMK are taking right now. Very simplistic, very basic, but very effective. And they're even going to be stopping Goliath from saving these rifles unless Kani, well, actually does a great job there with finding 2 frags. Nick, I'm electric right now.
7-3.
And I don't just mean... hypothetically, there's some live wire on me that just shocks me every now and again when I touch my belt. So that just keeps things interesting, you know. It's like I make a mistake, like a little shock collar. Okay. Anyway, enough about me as we got a bit of attack time out here.
Bit of time to think about what is going on, you know, like traditionally Dust 2 is more T-sided. It's quite easy to find that rotate and abuse the site with less players, but that's being said if you're taking a methodical approach. But Dynamic, they're just taping down W key and it's working for them perfectly fine. So Dynamic, they find themselves 7-3, and it's going to be another buy round coming out from Goliath. So the question is, are Dynamic going to be posting an 8th, or do Goliath start to solidify a comeback? It is an important round.
Nick.
There's no AWP. No, there's one AWP. Sorry, that's the save from Canny, but
yeah,
you don't have all the balls and whistles you want.
The double AWP has actually been working against him though, right? Because they've had to consistently be retaking. So it's not even like there's enough time for the double AWPs to get anything done. So maybe the 4 rifles with the lone AWP is actually the correct approach. And look at what the setup is now for Goliath Gaming. Nick, they've got 3 people towards this B-bomb site. This is the conditioning that's come through from DNMK, just hitting the B-bomb site relentlessly. Now they've forced Goliath to readjust their setup, and now they're going back to a bit more of a passive default, looking to try and exploit the way that they've changed Goliath's setup.
This is going to be a mid to B smoke thrown out by Dweezil, which could suggest this mid to B hit to come in. But
that's a nice smoke.
The 3-man B setup that was initially coming in, Zip's going to press the issue and gather this information over towards short. And Massacre, he's going to push ahead of the smoke towards bottom middle and gather all that info. So the question for Goliath is, where are the other players? Dweezil's posted bottom middle from top of middle, and he could catch ADM if he's not aware, the lurk smoke is thrown out towards upper B. Adara is going to flash in response and be wary of that, but the T's and the CTs are all spread across the map pretty much.
Yeah. This is DNMK playing into Goliath's hands though, where they just like go back to their passive defaults, and you take like elongated gun battles where you can get picked off and whatnot, but they do isolate Zip, and that makes this A bomb site primed and ready for the taking. It's only Kanye left here with the AWP, and he misses the all-important shot, though fortunately for him, he's able to drop down in CT and keep himself alive. All in the meanwhile, Massacre's coming through with this quick backstab. He wants to try and trade up for a better weapon. He misses the shots. He hasn't been able to get the kill. The grenade's going to come through, but this has given DNMK a chance to get onto the bomb site, and the man's going to turn and burn. Now it's a 3 versus 4 in favor of DNMK. Even though they lost the first player in the round, they're in a position to potentially get this one across the line. Adaro and Kani frantically trying to get away into the bomb site, but they're going to only find a way into the grave, Nick.
That was a buy round.
That was a buy round.
Dynamic have got 8.
And it's going to be 9. And they've won 9 of the past 10 rounds, or rather 8 of the past 9, but what should be 9 of the past 10 after this.
Oh, my.
Look at their money. This is a fairy tale right now of DNMK. My goodness gracious me. 8-3. Guys, what a fantastic lower bracket final we have on display right now. Both of these teams giving it absolutely everything that they've got. Goliath so desperately want that rematch against ATK, but my word are DNMK making them work hard for it, Nick.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, these two teams met each other prior. Goliath, quick 2-0 in that regard. Dynamic, they've not only posted Vertigo, but now they're taking the fight to Goliath. It's going to be a partial investment, and yes, Goliath, they've been in the conversation for the top 2 with ATK. ATK undoubtedly being in that first position, but the question is, who is going to be meeting them in the grand final tomorrow? Dynamic look to be favourites actually running in the first 12 rounds, but you can't discount Goliath. Even if you go down 9-6 possibly at the half or 10-5, we know what Goliath can do on the T side, but you have to start posting rounds. It should just be another round for Dynamic. They should be able to clean this one up as clean as possible. But if you're Goliath...
Oh, that's a shot.
Okay. Oh, I thought you got the next. Never mind. Adaro, he's taken out by Heartbreak.
Notice how Heartbreak has Divo right behind him there for the viewers watching this game. So even though Heartbreak is in a very forward position with the AWP, he always has that support right there behind him in case something goes wrong. And Dweezil, fully aware that the long flank could have come through there, takes down Massacre. And again, even though Goliath got the first pick in the round, Nick, it doesn't look like it's going to be turning into much.
It looks like it's going to be 9-3, and that's a 6-round buffer. And 9 of the last 10, as you said, Zip left in a 1v4.
Oh, Dweezy, easy.
Dweezy, yeah, he wants the back-to-back-to-back.
Spam this Weasel to help Dweezil.
Exactly.
That's it, right?
Spam this sheep to help Dynamic reverse sweep. All that good stuff, you know, all the Twitch spams that you can get going, get them going, give your team energy into this. Dynamic, they found themselves 6 rounds to the good, but it is another full investment coming out from Goliath. No AWP setup coming out from them. Adaro, he's got the AUG to post towards upper B from the back side, but it is going to be this long take coming out from Goliath once more. But as you said, Dust 2 is that map where you can just 4-man up areas, and they've done exactly that.
Oh my God,
Dynamic,
they're not slowing down, Nick.
4 up towards short. Kani, he's going to take the first down. That is the Weasel, that is Dweezil. He's going to reaggress and get a second over towards Divo. He's flashed off, but I'm sure Kani, knowing the person he is, he's going to reaggress Nexus. His position is going to be known due to the tick of the molly. But the A bomb site is going to go the way of Dynamic. The bomb needs to be retrieved.
But this is a ball that Goliath cannot afford to drop, right? They've got a 2-man advantage. They know exactly what the play is here from DNMK as well. Everybody's in position to make the retake happen. They've got full-on control, so there's no backstabs coming through. Goliath Gaming have to win this round, Nick, and it starts off with this frag onto Nexus. They don't expect him to be so close, but he can't capitalize on it regardless. The man, though, he's dropped down into CT, takes the fight with Adaro, and he's going to be looking for the fight here as well. Meanwhile, Heartbreak's been able to take down Massacre, which means we're into a 2v2. Heartbreak desperately needs to stay alive for as long as he can here. He's going to go one further than just staying alive. He gets another frag onto Kani. Now it's just Zip left. He will take him down. The man only has 7 health, but he's got a molly, Nick, and that molly will be dropped onto the bomb. So Zip is going to try and use this time to find the frag if he can, getting aggressive, pushing forward, looking for the man. HE grenade, no, I thought that was. It was not. Zip still finds the kill, but there's no time, Nick. There's no time. Goliath Gaming lose the 3 versus 5. And it was a 2 versus 5, actually, because they killed Nexus before another frag came through. The man drops down into CT.
He gets 2.
But what a play. Most people are like, let's just plant the bomb, let's try and drop back towards short, but that never works. You can't just lock down the bomb from short. He knows he has to make a play, takes the responsibility on his own shoulders, and he's pitching up right now when his team needs him the most. 10-3, DNMK doing the most. They're 6 rounds away, Nick.
They're 6
rounds away.
To think that we're saying Dynamic are 6 rounds away and we haven't even seen the first half transpire completely. Who would have seen this coming? Dynamic 7 rounds to the good against Goliath. They've called the timeout. Goliath, they need to talk things over. The setups just aren't working. As you said, a map like Dust 2, you could just 4-man up the one side and take the gunfights, and it's working for Dynamic. Yes, that round they find themselves in a 2v5, but the man and Heartbreak being the men that break the hearts of Goliath. 3-10 is the score. Another full investment coming out from Goliath once more. And now if you're Goliath, you're really punching above your weight in the lower bracket final. Winner faces ATK. And right now, it looks like it is going to be Dynamic. Who would have seen this coming?
That's a question and a half, Nick, because I don't think many people can truthfully answer that they saw this coming right now. Dweezil's going to be able to find one before he gets traded. It is a force buy from Goliath Gaming right now. They're trying everything they can to get into this game. And yes, they're able to trade frags, but trading frags is just not good enough right now. It's a 3 versus 3. And DNMK, they've got a free route onto this A bomb site, Nick. My word, how have we gotten to this point?
Now it's the same 2 that won a 2v5. And now it's 2v3. And I'm not saying Goliath are going to post the 4th, because I don't know. These 2 literally just won out of 2v5. And now it's Heartbreak and the man, tasked with Zip, ADM and Massacre. And Heartbreak is going to open up the 2v3. No way does this happen again. Massacre.
It is, it's happening. He doesn't realize how far forward Heartbreak is. And he breaks their hearts again, Nick.
Dynamic are showing up 11-3, 11-3, possibly 12-3 at the half. Dynamic, they're showing up. They want to book their spot against ATK. You said it yourself. Dynamic, they had the recent roster changes. They've had enough time. We now need to start seeing results, and they're giving it to us. 11-3 is the score. They're staring down a 12-3 scoreline. The noob cannon has been purchased up by Dweezil. He's shot some bullets through the mid doors.
But it's Heartbreak.
Dynamic, they're looking on course to post a 12-3 half against Goliath in the lower bracket final of Telkom vs Gaming Masters Season 5. Who would have seen this coming?
Nick, I need to ask the question, are we still in warm-up, or is this genuine, the real scoreline happening right now? Goliath would so desperately hope that this was indeed warm-up, but in fact, unfortunately, of course it isn't. Kani forcing the issue towards top middle, but he can't even find a single frag. He dinks 2 of them, but neither of them end up culminating in a frag. And Zip, he gets caught between 2 places in transition. Fortunately for him, he does get the timing right on the pick on Dweezil, and it's down to him and ADM to try and find a 4th round for Goliath Gaming, to have something to fight with heading into the second half. Going to be the fake plant. Zip nearly gets dealt with. Yeah, the confidence is brimming right now for DNMK. Final round of this first half, so Goliath certainly will be going for this, but we've seen DNMK do far more with far less. So I don't know how much Goliath can get done right now. ADM will be able to take down the low HP Divo, and there's also low HP on Heartbreak as well, as he continues to peer above the smoke, and he will be taking him down 12-3. On top of that, DNMK won 12 of the past 13 rounds. Look at the middle of your scoreboard. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is exactly what you're witnessing right now. DNMK just bringing a fantastic half to the table, Nick.
And we spoke about Dynamic. They're predicated off their individual play, and we're seeing the exact opposite. They're just 4-manning up. We say, oh, just Diver and the man show. That's the common conception of what Dynamic are doing. But this game, they're all firing. They're all at full tilt. Nexus being the only one, the IGL, he's lagging behind, but it's fine. You're 12-3 up, and things are just looking good if you're Dynamic. 12-3 and Goliath, they need a monster T side to see what they can get done. They're going to flash out towards long, but no one is home. Dynamic are playing a passive long setup. Divo's over towards the car, and if he's overlooked, this could be
devastating.
This could be the map. If Divo
it's a bait and switch.
Like,
So if Heartbreak, he's trying to take that attention away. That's why he's peeking like this. Another flashbang's going to come through to support him. They're all lined up. Heartbreak peeks out. He taps down 2 of them. Dive has an impact as well. He finds a frag amongst the chaos. It's a 5 versus 2 in the all-important pistol round. The pistol round that Goliath could not afford to lose. Looks like they will be losing unless Massacre and ADM can pull something magical out of the hat right now. There's no rabbits on the server, but there certainly is still a chance as long as these two are alive. Look at the aggression coming through from DNMK, but Massacre's welcoming them with open arms. He finds the kills with the Glock that he has to, runs out of ammo before he can find his 4th. All in the meanwhile, ADM, he's been contested towards CET. He's been taken down. Massacre's going to have to ace clutch this, and he goes down to Nexus as well. Oh my goodness gracious me, Goliath Gaming, 13-3 down. Certainly, surely, that's all but done now, Nick. How did Goliath Gaming fight back from 13-3? With no money.
With no money. Like, literally, like, hello?
This would have to be the comeback of the century,
Dynamic?
Nick.
Where was this a couple weeks ago in the upper brackets? Where was this dynamic? We're seeing a different dynamic on the server.
Yeah.
They showed up on Vertigo, winning that out 16-12. They had a bit of a rough time on Inferno, but now it's an absolutely lights-out performance. 13-3 on the decider when you're playing for your spot in the final of the biggest comp in the year. Goliath, they're choosing to force into this, and if Goliath lose this round, it's all said and done.
Yeah.
Surely if Goliath lose this round, it's dynamic against ATK in a best-of-5 final tomorrow. And running into the final of this competition from the start, looking at possibly the 6 favorites or the 8 favorites or the 16 favorites or the 18 favorites, I doubt anyone would have said it's ATK against dynamic.
I know.
That would be in the final, but that's all predicated off of how this force buy goes. Do Goliath win this one out? And they're just going for the B rush.
That nade's going to be slightly early, but actually I say that they end up matching it just in time. Must have done close to 100 damage in total there across three different players. In Goliath Gaming, they're just sitting and waiting. All 5 players are going to be bursting into this B-bomb site momentarily. They do catch Nexus in transition, so he goes down uncontested, and they've now spotted out the 4th player, or that extra player in the back of the bomb site. Kani will remove him from the equation. Heartbreak tries to force the issue, but he goes down holding W as well. And finally, Goliath Gaming are able to win around here on Dust 2. It's been far too long until I've been able to say that, but they keep themselves alive here at the bare minimum, Nick. And I want to bring your memory back all the way. A couple of months ago, we saw DNMK play against Sinister 5 on this map.
Yes, that's
and DNMK went up 13-2, Nick. They went up 13-2 after their T-half, right? They then went to the CT side, and they lost the map in overtime. They are on the CT side once again. They are up 13-3 once again. My God, DNMK, please. My heart won't be able to handle it if you lose from here.
Imagine that. Imagine that would happen, right? Goliath against Dynamic. The last couple meetings between the two, Goliath 2-0 stomping. Now it's the lower bracket final of Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5, 210,000 Rand on the line.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks, oh, Goliath 2-0. Everyone besides Mooncow, of course. And then Dynamic get Vertigo. They find themselves up 12-3 at the half. Imagine they lose this sort of matchup. Imagine what sort of repercussions that would have. Like, who would have seen this coming? If I was a betting man, I would have put my money on Goliath 9 out of 10 times of the week. But Dynamic, they find themselves 13-4 up. They force bought into this one, sort of, not really. But we're going to see what they can get done. Kani gets the first, but the trade comes out from the man. He's almost good for 2, but Adaro, he's going to clean that one up. Goliath look on course to post their 5th, and they need this.
So
they need this round.
This isn't undoable, right, for Goliath to make the comeback here, especially because they're on the T side. They can just continue to dictate the pace of the game and approach it exactly how they want to, not just sort of be caught off by these aggressing T players. They're the ones who are going to be in control now on their T side. DNMK within touching distance of that grand final right now.
Excuse the pun. But imagine the heartbreak.
Yeah, I know. I've had that one. I've used that one a few times as well, Nick. So you got free reign, bro.
Yeah,
go for it.
It's fun.
But yeah, if DNMK do lose this, it would be a massive upset. But let's not go there just yet because they're still so far ahead. They're going to be double saving here regardless, just because of the monetary situation of the man and Nexus. Certainly not going to have enough money to warrant a buy in the next round. So it'll be 13-5 after this, 13-6 after the next. And that first gun round is going to be where we get the first proper indication as to how this half is going to be going. Because when you're making a comeback, that first gun round is really important to get across the line, and it just boosts your confidence confidence a crazy amount and gives you that belief that, hey, we certainly can do this. Even though they had the weapons in their hands, we still won the round.
Yeah, definitely. But what a game have we got on our hands. Goliath, we always pride themselves. We always talk about how good their T-sides are, and they really are. But if now's the time to show anyone watching that your T-side is fantastic, it's now. You find yourself 13-5 down, 8 rounds behind Dynamic. The clear underdogs into this matchup. The winner of this bags 50k at least into tomorrow. But Goliath, they're 8 rounds down. Dynamic, there's another eco on the cards, possibly saving for that double AWP setup. But Goliath, they need to start showing up. 5:30. I'm still confused at what I'm looking at up at the top of the screen. Are they possibly like switched around? Have we been let a lie? Like, I'm so confused.
Oh God, I don't think so, Nick. I don't think so, man. The scoreline you see is the scoreline that be.
I've scratched my eyes a good couple times, so nothing else is going to save me.
Third map here in the lower bracket final. Loser is eliminated. Their 7-month run throughout this year, throughout the multiple different legs, throughout the main event, reaching the third and final stage of the main event. Whoever loses this map, their road comes to an end. The winner earns a spot in that grand final against ATK tomorrow. Fantastic shot there from Heartbreak. But certainly still should be Goliath's round regardless. Excuse me, as I say that though, Nexus lands another fantastic shot, and this has opened up the round entirely. Adara gets 1. But how much can that turn into as Dweezil also finds a frag? You're breaking Nick, guys. Just stop right now. The Desert Eagles are doing so much damage, Nick. All 3, 1 bullet, 1 headshot coming through. It's a 4 versus 2, and a round in which Goliath had everything going for them. It looks like they may be dropping the ball. It's a bait and switch. Divo hiding in the corner. He's the one player who had the rifle, and he's the one player who gets the frag. Nearly a double kill as well. Massacre, he only has 12 health left, and he has to clutch out a 1 versus 4, Nick. It's all happening right now. Goliath Gaming, they just can't seem to get it done. Massacre, up close and personal towards Long right now. Both of the players on the other side doors are very low, but they've got the crossfire set up, and he's desperately trying to force them out into the open. But it's nerves of steel on Divo and Dweezil right now.
10 seconds.
Not giving him an inch. He has no choice but to save, and this is where DNMK need to force the issue, and he knows if he survives that round without... if he survives that round, he gets no money going into the next, and it could be a disaster, but it's still a disaster.
That was his submission. He literally just ran out long doors with the bomb in his hands.
Yeah. But that's because he knew he had to die, right? I think, because he wanted to... Well, I say that. If they were going to be forcing into this round, he should have certainly looked to save his AK. 14-5, Goliath Gaming lose this round. No money in the next, and DNMK are on map and match point. They've got the full buy, Nick. DNMK, they're on the home stretch now. They can see the finish line on the horizon. Do they have what it takes to make it all the way? Do they have the BMT to close out this lower bracket final? What can Goliath get done in this round? They've got that AWP on ADM. They've got a couple AKs and a couple Desert Eagles.
That was a free kill.
For who? I didn't even
ADM.
see it. I didn't even see it.
He literally just ran down middle, ran through mid doors, posted a ramp, and just missed Dweezil pulling out a grenade. Like, everything has gone Dynamic's way this map. Like, taking nothing away from them.
Oh, Adara's been segregated by that. Molly is going to be ticking to the fire. He goes down to Dweezil once again. Off the back of that, do they activate? Absolutely. They're going to be surging into this A bomb site, but somehow DNMK, they just keep bobbing and weaving and avoiding Goliath at every turn. But Massacre, he has the AK in his hands, and he gets the job done, securing the control of the bomb site for his team. But we've seen DNMK do far more with far less. Let's see if that's going to be the case here. Once again, Nexus and Divo chime in with a quick couple flags between the two of them, and Divo gets another one with the AK. Now it's just zips up left in the 1 versus 2, and it's going to be very short until they figure out exactly where he is, and that is indeed short. He's got a smoke, but that doesn't really aid his cause that much. Nexus is sticking the defuse, and he's just tucked in behind the box. There's nothing that Zip can do. He's going to come around, and as soon as he hears the cue, bomb has been defused. His heart will melt. He will sink in his chair. DNMK 1 round away from booking themselves a spot in that grand final against ATK.
15-5. Let me say that again in case you didn't hear it. 15-5. To Dynamic. Who would have seen this coming? not only a lights-out Vertigo, but a possible stomp, no less, on Dust 2. DNMK, they're 1 round away to book their spot in the grand final of the Telkom vs Masters Season 5 against ATK, taking out the heavyweights themselves, that being Goliath. Goliath's backs are against the wall, and they're going for a late long take. They have to pull out all the stops. They're clutching at straws.
Yeah. Look at DNMK, Nick. They're just sitting so far back right now, not giving away anything. They recognize the magnitude of the situation, and they want to give themselves the best chances at closing the map out right here, right now. Dweezil, he's gotten aggressive up short, and he's going to be catching Kanye off guard. That's the lurker that's been taken down. Now Goliath off the back of that. They need to work their way into the safe bomb site. You can see the wall of smokes coming through towards CT. They've spotted out Divo as well, but they haven't been able to find that frag just yet. Heartbreak waiting for that support flash to come through from CT. But it hasn't arrived. All in the meanwhile, Dweezil's taking down Adaro, so the final 3 remaining players here for Goliath Gaming are all coming from long. Massacre's been taken down. It's all on ADM. Rather, it's not Massacre. Massacre got the frag. It's himself and ADM to try and salvage the situation for Goliath Gaming right now, as they are in such a tough position. 2 versus 3 as the bomb gets planted.
ADM and Massacre left in a 2v3. Nexus, Heartbreak and Diver within touching distance of the grand final. Flash over towards the site. 2 actually, in fact, as 2 players come towards long. Massacre takes down Heartbreak, and now it's left in a 2v2. Divo gets the double, and DNMK have posted their 16th round against Goliath. DNMK meet ATK. Who would have seen this coming? DNMK are at least your runners-up in the Telkom vs Masters Season 5. What just happened? What just DNMK, hello?
I'm shocked, Nick.
Like,
I am absolutely shocked. What an absolutely lights out performance from DNMK on Dust 2 when it mattered the most. They brought that fire. It was the reverse sweep. They lost Inferno 16-12 and they still had gas in the tank to go all the way on Vertigo and Dust. Nick, I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless. They eliminated Goliath Gaming, the second best team in South Africa. Everybody said coming into this, we're going to have the ATK versus Goliath Gaming final. It's a done deal. DNMK, though, showing that they still had belief, and they certainly knew that they were capable of getting that job done. I believe we have one of the players from DNMK on the line. I don't care who it is. I just want to talk to anybody from that team right now. It is Nico once again. Dweezil, congratulations. I'm going to ask you the most generic question in the world because I know you must be brimming. How are you guys feeling right now, bro?
No, the team's feeling amazing. Honestly, that game was, I mean, we played lights out and, yeah, I don't know really what to say. Goliath played a really good game.
Bro.
Yeah, without a doubt, you guys came into this, you said it yourself, it came out of your mouth. You haven't beaten Goliath in an official, and what a better time to beat them now. 2-1 is the, like, I'm baffled. Like, how is the team feeling? Like, I know you're over the moon. How's the team? How's everything your side?
Everyone's very ecstatic. I mean, this is for 3 of them. The first, like, well, Heartbreak, it's his first, like, it's not LAN, but would have been LAN.
Yeah.
So for him, it's the deepest run in the tournament for him, as well as Nexus and Divo. Oh, Divo's made it to finals before. But, yeah, in this event, yeah, crazy.
So, Nico, let's go back to the beginning of the journey, if you can remember that far. We started out on Inferno. You guys must have known, you decided to ban Overpass, which seems to be a bit of a pattern for you guys now. You know that, you know, both Sinister 5 and Goliath are very good on the map. You must have known Goliath were going to pick Inferno. It's one of your guys' strong suits as well. How did you guys feel about that map going into it?
We felt very confident. Like I said before, we've been playing really good CS at the moment as a team.
Yeah.
And we're all peaking at the right time. So, yeah, we threw a couple rounds on Inferno. I think we could have taken Inferno,
Absolutely,
but then again,
I agree.
Goliath arguably has the best Inferno in the country. But as soon as I saw the scores were that close, I knew, yeah.
You knew it was happening, 100%. And Inferno done, we got to talk about your performance on Vertigo, right? Like, you had an absolutely lights out performance. I think at one stage you were probably like 9-0, like 13-2. You had an absolutely great game. Kudos to you. How did Vertigo go for you guys?
Vertigo was awesome. I mean, it's one of our strongest maps, I would say. We almost beat them in that previous tournament. I'm not sure exactly of which name. So, yeah, we just had to show them that it is possible. And, yeah, I mean, can't let Goliath get knocked out by anyone else but me.
Nico, let's talk about your own individual performance on Vertigo. You started off with that 1 versus 3 in the pistol round on the T side where you were in the corner with the Glock. You landed amazing headshots. You then picked up a 4K in the next round and you had an amazing map. You're not necessarily like the biggest star player in the team, but you certainly have the potential to take the game by the scruff of the neck. Was that just a moment and a game where you were just really feeling it?
I think so. I've been learning like new roles and stuff. So now I've been playing B, and I mean on CT side, that's pretty standard. But yeah, on T side it was I learned how to counter Trevor and Rikus.
Yeah. And then going across to Dust 2, what was the belief in the TeamSpeak before the map had even started, coming off the back of winning Vertigo? I was saying on the desk that these guys in TeamSpeak are going to be fully believing that they have what it takes to win the series from here. Was that indeed the message in the TeamSpeak at the time?
100%. I think it was me who said at the beginning of the game, guys, this is a VO1 at this point.
Yeah.
And we're the underdogs, and this is Dust 2. And we got to stick to the storyline. So, yeah. Everyone was very excited for that map, and everyone was lights out throughout the series.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Everyone loves a good underdog performance on Dust 2. So, Nico, you're on the verge of a back-to-back Comic-Con win. How are you feeling going in tomorrow? What can we expect?
I think you can expect much of the match, much of the same. We're going to play with full confidence. We've got nothing to lose at this point, to be honest. And I think ATK shouldn't sleep on us, but we've been scrimming against them a lot, and it's been going very well. So, yeah. Let's wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you guys literally have nothing to lose going into that game, and you always want to test yourselves against the best, right? And now you have a chance to do exactly that in a grand final setting. It's a best of 5, which means you have some time to get into the series as well. Nothing to lose. Yeah. I wish you all the best for tomorrow, man, and really looking forward to seeing you guys on the server again. And again, well done for today. It was great to see the belief, and you followed it through with the server. Very happy for you, bro.
Thanks so much, Matt.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Zach and Nico, we'll check you next time. That is Dweezil from DNMK off the back of their resounding 2-1 victory over Goliath Gaming. A reverse sweep nonetheless after they lost the first map 16-12. They then went across to Vertigo, their map pick, and they got the job done 16-12. And then it went to Dust 2, Nick, and it was just like the most one-sided performance we've seen in a lower bracket final before.
I was hoping we'd see overtime after overtime on Dust 2, but it was exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
It was, to say nonetheless, a stomp from Dynamic. I was saying before, no, Goliath 2-0 victory, no doubt. But Dynamic, they come into Dust 2 and actually finish up with a stomp on towards Goliath Gaming. 16-5. Who would have seen that coming? I mean, we saw Mooncow. He said, you know, Dynamic are going to get a map. They finish with 2, and they're going to book their spots against ATK in the grand final tomorrow, where it's 100,000 Rand to the winner.
Yeah. Speaking about ATK, I believe that we have a member of their team on the line as well for us to just chat to a little bit. Gareth, are you with us?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can as well. We might have to get you turned down on the studio a little bit just to make sure you don't hear yourself too much. But did you manage to catch that game?
Yeah, we watched the entire thing, watched all the maps.
And just straight off the bat, what did you make of that series, man?
I think I was expecting DNMK to take Vertigo, but I wasn't expecting that third map score to be like that. And as Dweezil said, we were scrimming them a lot, especially like on Dust 2 and things like that, because it's preparing them for Sin 5 and Goliath. And yeah, they've been having really good results versus us, and just the individuals in that team is just really strong, and it showed on all the maps today.
Look, Gareth, I've spoken to you twice. I was wrong twice with my predictions, and I just have to say kudos to you. So it's Dynamic tomorrow. I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10 people, actually 99 out of 100 people would have said it would have been Goliath ATK in the final. Now it's Dynamic. It's a bit of a different opponent, but I'm sure the preparation doesn't change.
No, it doesn't. It's basically still like another team. It doesn't matter who we play. We still play the same style, the same discipline, and everything going into every game. And it's going to be a good final. It's not the same teams, not the same players, so it's definitely going to be a different environment to play in.
Yeah, it certainly does up the ante a little bit of making it a bit more interesting when you've got a change up in the teams who are playing in the finals. Let's talk a little bit about the best of 5 setting. There's no map advantage going into this grand final. How do you guys approach the veto in a best of 5? Because obviously you can just ban the one map. When it comes to picking though, do you order the maps in any particular way, like from best to worst or worst to best?
I think like just a banning would obviously like ban a map like that's their best, because we are a team that has almost 7 maps prepared.
So you're banning Inferno tomorrow, yeah? Tell us more.
I don't know. We were pretty happy with the result versus Goliath, especially me as the leader. I just felt like even though it wasn't the result we wanted, like that team side was very flawless. And yeah, we don't really know how the veto is going to go yet. We haven't discussed it. But going in order, I guess us and DNMK have the same maps in a way.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends on who shows on the day. It could go Nuke, Vertigo, Overpass for all we know.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. We basically play the same maps.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone's looking forward to it. But I'm pretty sure coming from your camp, you're going to be expecting nothing less than a 3-0 possibly. Dynamic, obviously, different opponents to Goliath, but definitely you're going to be expecting a 3-0 from your camp.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're going to come with confidence like they are, but we can't underestimate any other team. Like if they played how they did today, the scores could be closer than what we think. And as Nico said, we're not going to sleep on them at all.
Yeah.
We're just going to come prepared and make sure that we do our homework and just play every map as it goes, every round as it goes, and yeah.
Because this is when it matters the most, right? It's the biggest event of the year so far, the biggest prize pool. It's Comic-Con Africa Online. DNMK eliminate them when it matters the most.
Especially after being 1-0 down. They do definitely eliminate them when it matters the most. They're 1-0 down and they were able to complete the reverse sweep, which is massive from the side of Dynamic. And a lot of people were saying this ATK team, they're the top of the pile, but will they do it when it matters most? But now it's actually Goliath that they've fallen out the equation. It's not even 8K Goliath, it's 8K Dynamic. Who would have seen this coming?
Well, I can say honestly that I wouldn't have seen that coming, and I don't think that many other people can truthfully say they would have either. But that is all we have from the Masters action for today. Guys, I want to let you in on something really cool though. Tomorrow is the High School Esports League Grand Final between Parklands and Paul Roos Gymnasium. These two teams have been fighting it out throughout the past few months to reach this final, and it's a lot of the young up-and-coming players in the scene. These guys are all still in school, and the schools are starting to intertwine their esports divisions along with their sports. It's becoming mainstream, exactly as you and I always wanted. We knew it was what was going to eventually happen, and now we're going to have a final between two of these teams going head-to-head tomorrow morning. So we would love it if you would join us and support us and just see these up-and-coming stars who have been playing for these past few months. But that's it from us today, Nick, in the studio. Any final words, my man?
Literally, if I had final words, I'd say them, but like I'm lost for words. I don't know what I've just witnessed. Obviously, Dynamic, the underdogs, you love an underdog story, but all I'm saying is tomorrow, you want to watch because we possibly have a back-to-back-to-back Comic-Con winner on our hands.
You heard it from Nick's mouth to your guys' ears. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys, and being a part of this journey. The lower bracket final was such an entertaining game, and it was just such a great day throughout in general. My name's Hayes. I've been joined by Nick, and this was the Telkom VS Gaming Masters Season 5. Tomorrow, there is one match left. It's been a 7-month run across all the legs, across all the stages of the main event. There's just one game left remaining. It's the best of 5 grand final, 80k versus DNMK. That's all I've got to say, guys. From us, we hope you have a rest of your day that goes super, super well, and we will see you tomorrow.